It is late here. I know. I'm sorry, everybody. You would have thought a hurricane came through. We lost power earlier. But we're here, ladies and gentlemen. We got our fabulous host, Mr. Fresh.
Hello.
Hey.
We got the Black Cauldron, of course.
What's going on?
And we got George. Are you cammed up today?
Of course I'm cammed
I
up,
know
bro.
you're bricked up, but cammed up. Like,
Gross.
That is wild.
but
Well, yeah.
our guest
That's
for
true.
today, I'm actually super excited to have him. You guys actually probably know way more about him than I do at this point. But we have Steven in, who is the owner of the Pioneer Saloon. Yes, that Pioneer Saloon that we
Thank
mentioned
you for having me.
damn near every episode.
I appreciate it.
We were going to record a later episode, and I was like, I need to have Steven finally be on the show.
Yeah.
For sure. All of us, we can suspect we have a haunted house, but nobody has a haunted saloon.
Yeah,
But
I have a haunted house and a haunted saloon.
Yes,
and-
yes.
Yeah, and it's funny. I've always been fascinated by paranormal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Even growing up in Louisiana, we had all these spooky plantations from literally like the 1700s.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And we used to go, and where I grew up was not that far from New Orleans. So we'd go to all the Marie Laveau type places, and then we'd stay at the Myrtles Plantation in St. Francisville.
All the places I covered on my
yeah.
Why didn't you tell me? I would have literally picked his brain because.
Well, that's why we're here now.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
In fact, I tried to buy the Myrtles Plantation and was unsuccessful because the family that owned it did not want to sell it, so they gave me just a ridiculous. It's one of those like
$50 million.
FU prices. I'm like, okay, I get
Well,
the
I mean,
picture.
and not to give away too much, but you just got turned down from another big purchase.
Oh yeah, yeah. Which will be on an episode of What's What with Old Man Liver. But but I feel vindicated now that I have the Pioneer Saloon. I got my haunted
Your
place,
haunted place.
and it's as fun as I could have imagined it.
And that's what I was going to ask. Whenever you purchased it, you knew it was haunted.
Yeah, so I knew all the stories about the history and the haunted, which included the haunted history of this stuff, and so I was aware of that. Now, whether I always try to go in with a skeptical eye or whatever. I treat it like I'm not looking for something.
Yeah.
But then, right away, stuff started happening, and I'm like, wait a second. And of course, it's inevitably when I'm the last person there closing up at 2 a.m, everybody's already left, and I've even forgotten about the haunted thing because I'm tired. I just want to close up and go home.
Right.
And that's when crap happens. And I'm like, that's great. Yeah, when I'm by myself. And then now that I bought a house down the street from the saloon, and I had no idea that place was haunted, but it turns out it's actually the Pioneer Saloon is 112 years old. My house is even 3 years older than that. So, and it's weird, and it's got extra rooms, and you could tell it was built on over time, and it had a really cool vibe. But then, at night I was like, man, this is weird. And then stuff started happening, and it's a lot more negative at our house.
It was way more negative
Than
from
the
when we did
saloon
it.
When I watched the playback, it was definitely more like ominous.
It's just crazy how, like, I was looking, like, plantations and, like, taking it back a couple steps. Plantations are so expensive.
Yes.
Like, I was looking.
It's like they don't want you to find out what really
they
happened
said-
there.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know if it's Jake or Logan, one of the Paul brothers. They just bought a plantation in Georgia, and it was like $38 million or $48 million. Like it was a ridiculous price.
It's
It
crazy
always is.
because there's usually a ton of land.
Yeah.
And when we looked into it, and this is back in the 90s, just the fire insurance alone was something like $16,000 a month.
Wow.
And I was like, you got to sell a lot of, and there's only 6 rooms to rent out at the Myrtles Plantation.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm not sure the math works on that.
Right. We're renting them for $2,000 a night.
So like the family that had bought it was like, that's their permanent residence. That's different. They're not looking to make money. But I'm like, and because it's a historical landmark to some extent, everything's old and the fire. And I was like, I can't even afford the fire insurance on this freaking thing. So I see why these things are incredibly expensive, but the land you get is usually part of the deal. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, even like where Madame Delphine Lalaurie, they just sold, or it was on the market, her mansion. Sorry, I know I'm the one that never got my mouth up to the mic, but they just put it on the market for like $50 million.
50 mil.
And they turned a little dungeon where they would keep the slaves at into like this.
Guys, it's the game room.
Hold up,
Right,
but
it's like a winery down
ain't that
there.
on a corner?
It's on a corner, and it does. It
It's
has
not
a lot
even
of
no
land.
backyard. Like it's
No,
literally
it does.
like
It has a courtyard.
A courtyard.
What was the name again? I can look it up for us.
Lalaurie?
Lalaurie Mansion.
Nicolas Cage's old house.
Oh, yeah,
the
that's
one
right. I
he got
remember.
cursed
Oh.
over.
Yeah, I
That was
remember.
one that he bought.
Yeah.
He bought it and he lost it.
Oh yeah,
And he
'cause
also
didn't-
built that really creepy like pyramid thing in Cemetery Number 1, which
But
was
listen,
Yeah,
I've never
his plot.
I've never went past anything, but we actually went to that that house. When I say the vibe there,
us, like your stomach's
like,
in your ass.
the vibe there was so crazy. Like you could tell things were watching you.
Yeah, and I took pictures, and those things were in
We-
the
Like
window.
we showed it,
You
yeah.
could see like
Yep.
different entities in corners, and it man,
insane, and
It was a super wild vibe.
The one
you
in
know?
New Orleans?
Yes.
Yeah,
But the Pioneer didn't feel that way, did it, though, Mr. Fresh?
Pioneer
No.
was definitely way.
Mr. Fresh's
We
first ever
just-
paranormal investigation was
Yes.
at
Yeah,
the
hey,
Pioneer.
Listen, my
Oh,
first,
is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my first experience was at the Pioneer, so I appreciate you.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't. However, at a certain point in time, I don't know if it's because obviously we were there for Spirits with Spirits, and one of the individuals,
Yeah, attendees. I feel
one of
like
the attendees,
Oh, yeah, he
was
was a little.
magnet.
was a little more inebriated.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a magnet,
And it kind of drew itself to
Yeah.
this guy.
Yeah.
And then it just got thick. You know, he couldn't breathe, and then everybody else started getting suffocated. It
yeah,
got
because they were
kind
on
of
my
thick for a
neck.
second.
I said, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "Okay."
Like, hey, here go a chair. Sit over here.
I
y'all.
literally pulled up a chair. I was like, "Have a seat, whoever this is." And this was at your saloon.
Yeah, it was
I had a
crazy.
time.
It was a dope experience.
And
for
then
sure.
I was in what is it, the dining room?
Yeah.
Yes. And I went in there and it reminded me of when my kid, I have a 5-year-old, hides. And it was like behind that curtain that goes into,
Yes.
I believe,
like
the
a kitchen or something. Yeah.
And I was like,
Something's behind that curtain.
I literally said, something's in here with me. And it feels like my son, you know, like something wants to play.
Yes.
And he's like, oh, that's just
Mikey.
Mikey,
Mikey,
yes.
yeah.
It's just Mikey.
Yeah,
just
that's-
Mikey. And I'm like,
he won't bother you.
it's crazy. I talk about ghosts. I like to say a spooky spiritualist, but to feel it up close is so different.
It is.
It is. It's a lot, but it's fascinating because then you think, what is the correlation between passing and staying and still being in spots and
Right.
spaces? But I had a good time.
That's
I
awesome.
had a
Yeah,
good
the
time.
Pioneer is a little more mischievous than negative.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
feel. I never feel scared.
No.
There.
I have maybe twice. One of the times was somebody brought something
Yes.
with them, which I did have one thing follow me
You got to
home.
think about that as well, because I mean, a lot of people, they come on these tours, but they don't know how to cleanse themselves. You
Yeah.
know, so they're bringing
the one
entities
guy,
with them.
I think you saw it, but Brian and I had to be like, stop it, like to this grown adult because he was
yeah.
arguing with this entity on
Yes,
Mr. Box, and
I
we're like,
remember that.
Yeah, we were like, we're not doing that. We're not
Yeah.
going to do that here. You're not
Right.
going to bring. And it stayed. It lingered for a little bit, and then eventually it finally went away. I think I think Brian went and fully instead of just saging us,
Yeah.
saged like the whole
Yeah,
spot.
for
But
sure.
yeah.
You got to hit them corners, man.
Oh yeah, yeah, no kidding. It takes a
But
little extra
I-
saging in this.
I
case.
love your saloon. It's super cool. It's super
Thanks.
niche. And I can't wait to go back because I tell everybody that I know, like when they ask me and they're locals, like I have a friend that wanted, she's like, I got this idea, but I need a saloon and saloons don't exist anymore. And I was like, girl, yes, they do. I know exactly where you can find one. And I said, but it is a little haunted now. I'm just let you know, But it's just nice to see that it's so well preserved. It
Yeah.
is.
thank you.
I mean, even the bullet hole.
Even the
in
bullet
wall,
hole.
Yeah.
that goes straight. I could see straight
Well,
out of
it's
it.
it's crazy because back in the day, that whole street, the whole downtown Main Street called Spring Street, used to have several businesses that line the streets. And if you really look on the other side of the street, if you look closely, you can still see the concrete foundations of these businesses that existed. And there's still a couple of them barely standing. There's like the original, one of the general stores that was in town is a stone building from the 1890s. And you can still see it across the street. Just most people don't look because they go right into,
Yeah.
pull into the Pioneer and go in. But it's
Wow.
a neat town when you really look at the history.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's Goodsprings and for for those that don't know, Goodsprings is a small town right outside of Las Vegas, and it's only got 200 people. But back in the day, we had 800 to 1,000 in the early 1900s, which matched Las Vegas.
Yeah.
But ironically, you would go to Goodsprings for the more luxury shopping because we had the nicer clothing stores, we had confectionery stores, we had a modern hotel at the time with indoor plumbing and electricity,
wow.
which was a
That's
big
crazy.
deal. And so, and unfortunately, every single business has burned down or the weather has taken it, except for the Pioneer Saloon.
I'm wondering,
Wow.
like, with the history at Goodsprings and it being like a haunted place.
It was a mining town,
Okay.
so you had to know people died all the
Died
time
in the mountains.
Yeah,
probably.
in the
Okay.
And back then, you know, a lot of it wasn't reported. Of course, there wasn't OSHA and all that kind of
Right.
stuff.
Yeah.
So you had to know people were dying in the mines. You had, you know, that Western mentality. There's been a lot more the bullet holes and the poker table that had the 1950 poker game, which we know did happen for sure because we have all the records from it, and that's a confirmed murder. That's why all the paranormal investigations like to focus on Paul Kosky and Joe Armstrong and the people
How
involved
many other
in that.
people were killed
And
there?
there was a
Art
lot more,
reported.
yeah.
Right,
Because
right.
we even, you know, we've looked extensively into the archives, and UNLV has archives, and there's several. You know, they'll report like someone was shot at a bar in Goodsprings. Most likely that was the Pioneer Saloon.
'Cause
Yeah.
when you think about it, it's like that was reported in the 50s because this is when like publications and stuff started coming out.
Yeah.
However, this place was like 40 years older
Yeah,
than that.
exactly.
50 years
So
older
you
than that. So
know-
it's like what happened before
Right,
that?
and that's when its heyday was that really, you know, the early 1900s. And granted, there were 7 bars and 3 cafes and 3 brothels, of course.
Right.
I tell people now for the brothels, you got to go to the next county over, but we still have. George, you seem upset about
No,
that.
no. He played a sound effect.
We don't have our headphones on.
So the town was already colorful, and back then, kind of like big cities are now, you'd have sections that were, you know, you'd have your Chinese immigrant section, and you'd have your Italian block, and so there were, you know, everyone kind of had their own streets, but then they'd come into the bars and they'd get into it, and fights, gunfire, that kind of thing, and then we've just had people, you know, die of natural causes on the property. You know, someone had a heart attack a few years at the end of the bar and died.
Yeah.
We had one of the previous owners died when there was a house on the lot. So a lot of people feel his presence.
I've fallen at the Pioneer numerous times.
That sounds
Can I be
that sounds like
buried?
an OSHA issue.
Can I be? Can I be buried under the Pioneer?
That's technically we're not a cemetery, so I would have to not know about it.
Okay. Oh, okay. I like how he didn't say no. He just said I wouldn't have to know about it.
There is a cavern under there, which was covered in the first Ghost Adventure, the Ghost Adventure show that aired in 2010.
Directly underneath.
They go into the cavern.
We looked at the one that's on the house that he has, that's on his property.
Yeah,
No,
so,
but if you remember our ghost hunt, they talked about something underneath.
Like a cellar or something. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
like
like
a cellar.
under.
Yeah.
It was
Maybe
either
it was the cavern.
Yeah.
It's-
For sure. It has to be.
yeah, no question. And even the guy that sold me this house down the street swears at one point, because I do have a mine shaft on my property there, which is crazy. Only in Goodsprings would you buy a house with a mine shaft. So I was like, you know, what the hell is it? You know, open these floorboards and you look down. It's like a missile silo that's like goes at least 40 feet down.
Oh, you showed me that.
Yeah, it's kind of freaky.
We were trying to get Trey, who was only 100 pounds. We were trying to lower. He was willing, but there were some laws. Right, we were going to lower him down, just into it, and just have him hold the
Which he
camera.
would have
See,
suffocated.
George has it pulled up here
because there's no
So that's
oxygen.
him opening it right there.
And this is your house.
Yep.
Yeah, which is this is.
Which, if you haven't seen this yet, it's both on the Calls From Beyond channel and the Truly Bizarre channel. So go watch it. Do we have any audio? I won't copyright us.
I won't copyright us.
It's seriously like, look, if you look down there, you can't see the bottom. It's one of those you throw a rock in and you got to wait to hear it hit. And the guy that sold it to me swears, or told, I guess, a neighbor that he was pretty sure that it connected with the Pioneer Saloon at some point back in the day, which wouldn't shock me because they're miles of mine shaft
Yeah,
tunnels and
tunnels
stuff
and
all over
stuff.
Goodsprings, and they had to survive Prohibition somehow.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that would have been a logical way to do it.
Oh yeah. So right there, we're asking me. Brian goes, "Did you die down there?" And it says, "Yeah."
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah.
And then
yeah,
it says my name. Then it said my name on the supermarket.
Listen.
I'm cool.
Yeah.
I'm
Last time a
cool.
ghost said my name, I was excited.
I get it
because
every
I
time
knew
now.
the ghost.
I'm so used to it
But
now.
Right.
if it was just a random ghost, it was your ghost.
Christian.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and
When
I
you,
feel like at the Pioneer now, like I've been there enough to where
they know
They're
you
like,
now.
hey,
Yeah, they
Yeah.
say my name. Yeah,
Yeah, they
like
know you.
Mikey likes when we bring toys. Real quick though, I wanted to. We got a couple of super chats in. I just wanted to say thank you. First one happened before we even went live. It was Skylar with $1.99. Then we got a $5 one, which after that point I started up the goal again to do a live paranormal. We want to do a live investigation for the channel at the Pioneer.
Because we talk about the Pioneer a lot on our channel.
Oh, cool. Well, thank you.
Like,
I appreciate that.
We love it.
So we got a $5 super chat from Christy. It says Saloon sounds super
y'all.
cool and creepy. And then KL came in with the $20 super chat and said, "Please don't interrupt the convo. This is for no reason other than thank you for the community you're building. I look forward to Tuesdays. Appreciate it so much."
Aw,
KL,
thank
we
you,
appreciate
KL.
that, and
Sweet.
I will
KL.
stop interrupting the conversation.
No. I mean, like,
Hey.
my whole thing is this. The community that we build, we've all been called weird at some point.
Yep.
We like ghosts. We love to hear about aliens, UAP, UFOs,
Murders.
and murders. I mean, I watch true crime for fun.
Scary, actually.
Listen, I can get away with murder. That's all I'm gonna say. I've watched enough over the last 34 years.
You do it to somebody random, not legal advice. If you do it to somebody random, they're not gonna.
I'm just saying though.
Use a
usually-
revolver.
Usually, it's the spouse that's the first person. You know,
Yeah, that's
they
right.
look
Yeah,
at.
Listen,
that's true.
But you know,
true.
the community we built, we want people to feel welcome, whether you're a spiritualist, whether you're just a ghost enthusiast, or if you own a haunted saloon and house. You know, so we appreciate you guys. Shout out to all of my patrons that are over on my page, all of our
Yes.
regulars. Hey Maverick, I went to his event and
Yeah.
it was pretty dope. So shout out to everybody. Thank you so much for being
And
here.
also, shout out to the Bali gang. You
oh
know,
yeah, we need.
How far out were we?
We leave in a week.
Turn up.
They're going to Bali.
Week.
Mind you, this is how crazy awesome her community is. They are doing a retreat to Bali, and they sold it out pretty much almost instantly.
Yeah,
Wow, that's
yeah.
a rough lifestyle that you have.
Oh
I'm sorry
my
to hear
gosh,
that.
it's so bad.
It's so hard.
You gotta go to Bali next
and
week.
then
huh?
we're
Right.
turning around, and oh my gosh, I gotta go to Costa Rica in
2 weeks, 2
September.
months later.
Yeah,
And
I
with
feel-
new hats that you guys got for
Oh,
Costa
man.
Rica.
I feel very
I
sorry
don't
for
even have
you.
to buy souvenirs, you know?
Yeah, it's a rough
Just
lifestyle.
don't. George almost died over there though, so
Yes,
be careful. Don't be like
yeah,
George.
No. But it's just beautiful. I love our community. We're all spooky.
Yes.
Now the Pioneer, I know you said that you pull records on it. What is the story of this little boy? Because I promise to God, if I would have had a ball and rolled it into that area that's in between the curtained area,
Yes.
I would have got it back.
So you need to watch. I just released it the other day. This is the big one where we had a family come in. They brought more stuff than we had. They had a music box. You know how it is with little kids. When they like to play with something, they do not.
Yeah.
The music box was playing the entire time. Everybody
Yeah.
was 15, 20 feet away from it.
Yes.
And it's just going, we're like, hey, buddy, can you stop it? And they would stop. All right, I'm going to play with it. I'm going to play with it again.
So he has a Tootie and he has a Rowan because
I'd say more so 2D.
yeah, because he's my son. I love
Yeah.
him to death, but I'll be like, stop. He'll stop for a half a second, and then, but it felt like very like my kids.
Yes.
you know, and then it made me sad. Like, whose baby is this?
Yeah, and so people refer to Mikey, who was 8 years old, when
Which he did
died.
tell us.
And that a lot of people speculate because there's no records of
Yeah.
him, but it's there's story of a boy dying in a well. Everything out there is on wells, and there's some that aren't used anymore, and so he might have drowned in one of the wells that was on or near the property. So a lot of people just speculate that he's still playing there, and
Yes.
and it does. To your point, it feels. That's why it doesn't feel spooky. It
No.
feels like, you throw a ball and it's going to roll back to
Yeah.
you just for playtime.
Right,
and
exactly.
it's freaky if you're not used to this world. But all the other things you're talking about, aliens and ghosts and all that is our world out
Yes,
there.
yes.
If there's going to be Goodsprings in the
yes.
middle of the Mojave Desert, that's where you're
Yeah,
going to see.
'cause
So
I mean,
don't
even
think
some of the
people-
people,
UFOs, yeah.
some of the people
Yeah.
might even be.
yeah, the
aliens.
people
yes.
are definitely aliens.
Yes,
I can tell you that
so-
as a lot of colorful residents.
Yes, and I don't think people understand because a lot of people either haven't been to Las Vegas or they'll just fly directly into Las Vegas. Goodsprings and Jean and all of those places, it's nothing but desert.
Yeah, it's like a
pitch
good 40
black.
minutes out. Like
Yeah.
no
Would you say about
traffic
40
lights
or
to get
two?
out
Yeah,
there.
it's about 30 minutes, from,
Yes.
you know, depending on where you are in Vegas. But it's a lot of people don't know this, but it's actually at 3,700 feet elevation.
Yeah.
So you go up a good bit off the highway up a hill.
Yeah.
So that's the benefit for us, especially in the summers, is we're 10 degrees cooler than
cooler.
Las Vegas
Okay,
is.
got you.
But of course, sometimes it backfires in the winter. We'll have
Oh,
someone
it's
show up,
freezing
and
when we
yeah, and we've had someone show up, and they're like, "I'm from Florida. I'm
Yeah.
not used to snow. I didn't think it was be snowing on me
Yes,
out here."
yes.
Yeah.
And we sell a lot of sweatshirts on those days, but
Oh,
you know
yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
good thing.
Always, hey,
Yeah.
marketing.
You gotta market,
Capitalize.
yeah.
We should get ponchos too. Let's get some jackets out there.
Exactly.
I mean,
Yeah.
today you might have
Yeah,
wanted
no
some.
kidding. That's
No,
a weird
it was-
weather
it-
today.
It was freezing. When I say 20 degrees lower than it was, and it was already cold in Las Vegas.
It was like 50 degrees, and I think when we were doing it, because this was like end of
October.
October,
Yeah,
October,
it might have
was
been
like it was like almost 30 degrees. It was
Or was it the beginning of November?
No, it was.
because the last one we did
October.
was the day before Halloween.
Halloween. Okay.
That was the last one we did, at least last year.
It was
so it was, but yeah, it was like I told you guys, bring a jacket, and you guys were like, I don't think it's enough.
No, I believed you, and we did, but still, it is freezing. And then one cool thing that I love about the saloon is that it still has the vibe, like original fixtures,
Yeah.
tables, bars. And I was outside because I thought I heard something out there. Because when you're in these spaces, y'all, you're paranoid.
Right.
Right. Even if you don't hear anything. So I go outside and I hear it coming from this wooden box out there. And I'm like, what is this? And I literally, did we have to put $1 in it? Or
Oh,
the,
yes,
the man on the toilet.
Yeah.
The man on the
Oh
shitter.
yeah, the first night Brian and I
Oh.
did it. It scared us.
Yes.
because we wrap up. It's just Brian and I, and we're closing up because Steven,
yeah.
respectfully has let us kind of run the
Have
saloon.
while
Kind of have
doing it.
full reign, and so we're locking up for that. It's like 2 a.m, and we just hear, "I'm stuck out here," and I'm like, "Who the
Yes.
No,
fuck?"
that was
That
What?
was
So,
us.
so when we left, well, we were waiting for you.
Right.
We went outside because she was going out there to partake in her activities.
Yep.
I had to go
And
smoke, y'all.
all we heard was, "Let me out of here." We start looking
I
around.
know.
Like, what?
That scared the
And
crap
then
out
I
of me
listened
too.
and said it again, and I'm like, oh my God, someone's Papa is stuck out here. It was a ghost or whatever. I wish
And
we
these
had a
are
picture
these
of
one
it.
of these boxes that you put in $1
Yes.
and a miner talks to you or whatever,
Right,
opens
and
up
so
and
I think you gave me $1. Somebody gave me cash.
It might have been Brian.
And I put it in, and when it opened, it still scared the shit out of me because it's a man on a toilet and not a running one, like
it's
one
an
of those
outhouse.
old outhouse.
Yeah.
And he's on the toilet, and I was just like, bro, I gotta get the hell up out of here.
this is going to put me over the edge.
Yes.
This
No,
little
seriously. But the thing I like the most about the Pioneer is that all of the energies there are different.
Yeah.
You know, you have somebody that's upset. You have, feminine energy.
Yeah.
You have, a child's energy. So you have all of these things that they kind of like blend this beautiful woven sweater.
Yep.
Where it makes you feel more comfortable. Like, yeah, you got somebody telling you get out and fuck you, but then you
Right.
you also have
Somebody
the
that's like,
energy- right.
let's play poker.
Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's
Yes.
play.
Yeah,
and,
let's hang
and,
out.
And to your point, we have the original table where the poker game
Yeah.
took place, and like you were saying, the ambiance is just like it would have been if you stepped in there 112
Yes,
years ago,
you
because
go
it's
back then.
literally the same ceiling and walls and flooring,
Yeah.
and that's what gives us the historical landmark status. So
Yeah.
we couldn't
you.
change that. Not that we ever would want
Would
to.
want
I was gonna
to.
say you don't buy nothing
You
like
go
that.
back
Yeah,
No,
no, that's
moderate.
the real.
But it's
yeah.
going to be a nice
I'm
Denny's.
tearing everything down. Let's go ahead.
Well,
Let's
that-
put some recessed lighting.
Yeah. Well, that's what when I took over, there are all the rumors because everyone's scared that the new owner's going to screw it up or whatever. And I remember running into someone in Las Vegas and they're like, yeah, I heard the Pioneer Saloon got sold. And, I hear the new owner's going to tear it down and put an apartment complex. And I was like, is that right? Yeah, I'm like, because that doesn't seem like that makes much good business sense.
I happen to know the owner. I'll talk
it's-
to him for you.
Doesn't seem real logical.
Don't worry, I'll get it over with
Yeah,
him.
but
But you don't want
no.
that to happen.
Yeah, it's funny the stuff you hear, and
Yeah.
it's like,
Pretty sure people are lining up to pay $2,000 to live 40
Right.
minutes out of the city. you
yeah,
know?
yeah. I mean, now there might be a point to it because everyone's, Vegas has gotten so much more expensive over the years.
Yeah.
People are going outside of town, and now those prices are going up.
Yeah.
So Goodsprings is now discovered where a few years ago, you know,
So I need to buy now, is what you're saying.
Do
Do you happen to have a house for sale?
Yeah, I might.
Right.
I don't think you should buy anything with a silo on it though.
Yeah, seriously.
Rowan will be playing.
I might
hopscotch
recommend a
over
different
top of it.
property than mine, but I mean it's a neat property overall because we've got like a chicken coop and we've had chickens, which we love, and we'll just go. Stephanie and I will go have a glass of wine, and we call it chicken therapy. Where like our chickens will jump on our lap, and it's hard to be in a bad mood when you have this little cute little creature going just looking at you all, and they can recognize up to 150 faces.
Yeah,
so they totally know. When
I'm sorry, that sounds like a Tamagotchi in the 90s. Like it can recognize up to 150
I'm just
faces.
saying,
Like the way you sold that was just
Listen, eventually I want to live somewhere like
Oregon or something.
or somewhere where I'm right outside.
She wants to be a farm.
It's fun because I never got in. You know, I got out there, got into the lifestyle. I go back and I hook up my bass player from LA that we lived together and were in bands for decades. He came out and he's like, dude, you're becoming a redneck. And I'm like, why? Because I have to wear a hat to keep the sun off me, and I have chickens, and I live in a town of 200 people. I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. I am a
You might have a
redneck.
point there.
But it's fun because you just sit there, and I didn't know chickens were this smart, and we put a little solar powered door for them to let themselves in and out.
Yeah.
So in the morning they can let out and go run free over the whole property, which is a half acre, and then the rooster leads them all back in while the sun's going down, and then the door closes and they do it all themselves, just naturally.
Yeah, I think your cousin got one of those solar powered.
One of my
like
buddies
a
has
robot
one.
door.
He just installed a chicken coop at his house. And he lives like in the city, like in Pittsburgh. So it's like, I don't know why he got a chicken coop. But
And that's the funny thing is I actually raised them at my house in Las Vegas, which is in one of these typical neighborhoods. And despite what people think about Las Vegas, we do have real neighborhoods out here. We're not raising all our kids in strip joints and casinos.
Exactly.
I speak for your. No,
old man liver maybe, but but so it's funny because. I got these chickens. You can get anything online apparently. So we bought them brand new on an Amazon type thing, and they come in the mail. They just got hatched. They were all alive, and because I was like, I'm going to check them, to make sure.
Go to what's that farm supply or whatever, Tractor Supply, and they have them right there. They're like $1.
Our backyard is not big enough for chickens.
Chicks.
Yeah, they're chicks.
See, my toxic trait is I want them to stay that size.
Of course.
Well, that's the thing, and they are cute. One thing I didn't know: you have to wipe their little bottoms because they can. They can die. They can get.
It'll get stuck.
Yeah. So
dingleberries of death.
Yes.
Yeah. Once you've cleaned dingleberries off your chicks, you're bonded with them. So we named them all. But so I was raising them in my garage in our house in Las Vegas, which the typical house where the HOA, bunch, Nazi stuff where it's like, what, so they would ding me. Like for a while, I was getting dinged on something every day. Like I had too many bushes in my front yard or not enough bushes, or the color was slightly faint above one of the windows. And I would go to the board going, y'all are knick-knacking all these things, and you're missing the entire group of chickens that's living in my garage that I know is legitimately against all the rules.
Right.
But that you don't catch. But
I know you heard the rooster.
Yeah, but right, exactly. But my trash can was out 1 hour too long, and you dinged me on that. Right.
So
but
how is it, because animals, I feel like they're very spiritual and intuitive. You don't notice that your chickens kind of act crazy around certain times?
Well, they're so crazy anyway. And part of it is just what's out there that can get you. Yeah. Because we have bobcats, coyotes, hawks, everything. So you're always on guard. Right. And sadly, you do lose chickens and ducks and stuff occasionally. There's almost we have a coyote out there that's the size of a German Shepherd.
I can take them out.
And they can get over or under any fence. So
But he can't get away from a 308. I'll take care of him.
There's plenty of people with guns in Goodsprings, and no one's gotten this thing. This thing might be like its own little like Sasquatch thing. You might need to come out and do an episode on that freaking thing.
Yeah.
That's a good
Do we
point.
have?
They're all just firing. They say, I found him, boy.
Right.
Yeah.
Finding the predator.
And then what's weird in Goodsprings is we have this certain type of desert rabbit that I've never seen before, and I don't remember the exact name of it, but it's literally a large rabbit that have long tails and long ears, and it's like the size of a medium-sized dog.
That's just a basset hound.
And that's what I'm saying.
So basically, I live out in Australia because.
But it's a bunny rabbit, and like the first time I saw one was at night, and it peeked out behind the bushes, and I thought I saw a freaking alien.
Yeah.
I was like, I've never seen a rabbit with a long tail like a dog, and these weird ears, and it's sitting up like a dog, but it was a rabbit. I mean, it just looked like a creature that I've never seen before. And then we saw it one other time later in the day, and I was like, okay, and we were able to look it up and find it online.
So one of the last times I went, Nancy and Coco, who are two bartenders at the Pioneer, I think it was Coco. Coco comes running up to me. She's like, did I ever tell you about what I saw like run behind Nancy's car last night when we were leaving? And I was like, no. She's like, I saw a giant animal like right in between our cars. And I could, because she was behind her. She's like, I could see. She was like, this thing was huge. It's that thing?
Yeah, that looks like it, except the ears. Yeah, you can't see the tail, but the tail is long. That particular picture.
And it's only native to.
Yeah, apparently it's a Mojave Desert type rabbit that's not found in a lot of other places. So,
but it's just wild that they haven't migrated to Vegas. Like they stay out there.
I don't know.
We're not that far.
I see a lot of jackrabbits over by.
I see coyotes. I just saw some. I saw 3 of them.
Black-tailed antelope jackrabbit.
Yeah, that sounds right. Sounds right.
You guys don't understand. We deal with the aliens. We deal with ghosts. We deal with desert animals. Like
high rent
and the drug addicts.
High energy bills.
The drug addicts.
Yeah.
And Cox Cable.
Yes. And Cox and the energy. My bill doubled this last month. It went from $80 to $150 immediately.
I'm victimized.
And Republic trash.
Oh, no,
they drive me nuts.
Yeah, and we have our own little neighborhoods and suburbs.
Is this you guys when?
Yep. We're right there. I'm the one right there.
Landing.
Interesting.
But
that's the practicing to take over.
We have our own wildlife where people get roaches other places. We get scorpions in infestations.
We still get roaches though.
They do. But the roaches are this big and sometimes come with wings. So
yeah, they carry your fridge on. And they're like,
in Louisiana,
I don't even want to.
You don't want the thing would fly down in your hair from the light, or you put on your shoes and you pop one. It's just repulsive.
Were we in Georgia or were we in Louisiana whenever it was the flying roach?
That was Louisiana.
Yeah, we had a lot of, and they're big and they fly and they're disgusting. I hate roaches. Some people speculate that's why I'm out here. I hate raking wet leaves, which is a never-ending thing, and I hate roaches. So that's I love growing up in Louisiana, but that alone, the size of the mosquitoes there,
I love it. It feels like home that I'd never even lived in. So let me ask you this: which one, in your opinion, because I make these videos and I point out portals. Say Las Vegas is a portal, Louisiana is a portal. Yeah. Which one is more haunted, would you say?
Well, I mean,
Las Vegas or Louisiana?
Yeah. I mean, Louisiana overall, and I would only say that because the vibe is so much older. You have like in New Orleans, you've got those buildings that have been around for hundreds of years, and where a lot of Vegas is newer construction.
But don't people in New Orleans, and New Orleans more specifically, they lean into it though. They kind of embrace it.
Well, for sure.
Yeah. As opposed to Vegas, it's like you can't film in the casinos where arguably the worst stuff is happening.
That's true. But the other weird thing is, especially with New Orleans being under sea level and having the graves above ground and you really would have stories of hurricanes coming through, which back in the day they didn't even
bodies wash up.
Yeah, and you'd have coffins going down the street.
Yeah.
And these with these floods.
But then you also have the history where there were
the voodoo history.
Yeah, voodoo history, slaves, like all types of different things that happen.
I feel like we have more.
Yeah.
It's
In
more
Louisiana.
mob ties here in Native
Yeah,
American.
here it was just
Yeah.
people
Native,
dying
it's
because they were
native.
trying to cheat the mob. You know,
Yeah.
out
Well, we do have the
there.
aliens too,
But the voodoo thing was interesting because the slaves had to hide their natural religion
Yes.
from East Africa.
Yes.
So and then they started mixing them with Catholic saints
Yes.
to hide it, and that made everything even freakier.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like I tell people like authentic voodoo has nothing to do with voodoo dolls and like all
No.
that's from
No, it's
movies
saints.
and if you have a doll, you're using it to represent usually a family member for healing or something
Yes.
positive.
Oh my
So,
gosh,
like,
I love him.
Yeah.
He
Well, thank you.
understands. He gets it because that's what I try to tell people, and people are so closed off to learning that they're ignorant to it.
Yeah.
And they don't understand.
It's culture, though.
It's culture. You know,
That's
and
part of
it's
his culture.
just-
It's a way of
You
life.
gotta-
It's
you
not
gotta
just
think
a
somebody
religion
who-
or a.
somebody who was raised
Yeah.
in New York or New England
Right.
or something. They weren't exposed to the same things, so they wouldn't be able to understand that trajectory of something.
Right.
Oh, I
It's a
didn't
part of his
understand it
culture,
until we started
Yeah.
hanging out, and then
Yeah.
now I get it. But
Yeah.
like before that, no.
A lot of it is West African traditional religions, and they had to do that. You know, where they may had a saint little statue, but underneath it, it's another little statue.
Right.
You know, so and I love that you acknowledge that puppets, they were for protection. They weren't to be
right.
stabbing.
Like ow, I'm hurting.
yeah.
Like a pin.
What
Right.
George brought in
No.
is that kind of that doll. His
That
dad.
is tied to. I want to say that's more Santeria, but that's the
Okay.
same thing. On top
Yeah.
of what they really were
Yeah,
worshiping.
we had the land. They had the Bible. They
Yeah.
told us to close our eyes to pray. When we
Yep.
opened our eyes, we had the
was all
Bible,
about-
and they had the land.
We were on about so it's just like it's crazy because obviously you're white and you understand that because this is a part of your culture being a Louisianan.
Yeah.
So it doesn't surprise
And
you.
I actually have a business called Vegas Voodoo. So
Yes,
just
do you?
I do. It started out as Venice Voodoo because I was living in Venice, California, on the
Mm-hmm.
beach, and I was like, this has a wacky vibe, kind of like I'm used to on Bourbon Street with,
Yeah,
So I was
it
used to
is.
voodoo
It is.
shops and
How
stuff
many-
like that. And so what?
Oh, I was just say, how many other places are doing Mardi Gras? Because I know you do it.
Yeah. So we not many west of the
I
Mississippi.
didn't know
really.
you throw Marty.
I do. So, because of course, like out here, and for a while, like a couple of the casinos, like the Rio and
Yeah, yeah.
Orleans, were doing something, but it wasn't really well done or whatever. And I'm like, we're going to throw an authentic Mardi Gras
Right,
party.
you gotta get the king's
And
cake, the whole
we
nine.
did. So
like,
we'd have Gambino's king's cakes.
Okay.
We would fly in fresh crawfish from New Orleans and do the boil out there.
When is usually
We-
Mardi Gras?
Yeah, it's
February?
so it's usually February because it's the Fat Tuesday before Ash Wednesday, tied into the Christian calendar, and then we usually do the Saturday before Fat Tuesday as our big party.
Okay.
So we'll do gumbo. I'll do my mom's red beans and rice
I'm
recipe.
coming through.
We'll do crawfish etouffee. We'll
Yeah.
do Pat O'Brien's Hurricanes, like the authentic Pat O'Brien Hurricane mix.
Can you make
And,
a good grenade? Because I had a terrible one on bourbon. It was so touristy.
Grenades are there. They're very sugary.
Yes.
They'll give you a headache for days, but they'll mess you up though. That's for sure. Like
no, they
hurricanes.
were. I feel like when we went to Bourbon, they were selling us like the ones
It was
that.
so watered down.
Yeah, they didn't have a lot of alcohol. Like you would have thought. I see people drinking grenades and they're like tore
Oh,
down.
yeah.
Trying to get to
You go to
and
there's one great
did not.
grenade place that will mess you up.
Okay.
Like on the corner of
Okay.
Bourbon.
It's
and-
called Pioneer Salute.
Well,
No.
that too, yes.
That too.
So this year for our Mardi Gras thing, for the first time ever, we started throwing a parade, and which was kind of fun because I was like, and usually the first time we introduce something, people don't even really know what we're trying to do, and it takes getting some pictures, and then the next year builds up. But this time we had a decent amount of people take part in it, and it had the Vegas Goodsprings version of it. So it had
New Orleans, I think in a past life I probably lived there. I don't know.
No
But
question.
Are you
it's-
maybe perhaps going in a few months?
I am for Hoodoo Heritage Month. We are planning something. I'm a guest at somebody else's event, but I'm thinking about throwing my own event. There's a lot of different things that I want to do. I want to do an event here, but I also want to go to New Orleans, and I just, my bad, y'all. My bad.
Also, we're
y'all having
getting.
good audio because a lot of people are saying that it's going out.
Yeah, it's the internet. It's from the
Sorry,
the
we're in
weather.
the middle of a dust storm. Yes, we get dust storms. Not it was thunder too, but dust.
I'm shaman. I'm at that. them
Yep.
log out. So Agent 47, your mission, should you accept, is to find out why your stream is buffering. You may enlist Noah to sage the router.
Oh my gosh.
Good times.
No,
I
but
told you, Cox, man. We gotta.
Actually, I think this is Verizon.
Oh, for
oh
real?
really?
Yeah, I don't even think this is Cox.
That's even
in it.
worse.
It is.
I
My
Well aware.
Giga Blast doesn't skip at home. I'm just saying.
So do you ever miss living in Louisiana?
Yeah, parts of it for sure. Food wise, and obviously,
gosh, yes.
I mean, and New Orleans is one of those. Even if you don't get Cajun or Creole food, if you just order a steak, it's like the
Yes.
best steak you've ever had.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, some of it, of course, is like anytime you fry in oil and butter or anything,
Yeah.
put a tennis shoe in that, it'll taste good when it
Right,
comes
yeah.
out. I'd be like 40 pounds heavier for sure
Yeah.
if I had stayed there, because it's just dangerous, the drinking and eating culture,
Yes.
which I
Yeah.
love and partake in a little too dramatically.
what's up, George?
But,
Yeah, I was
but
just gonna say, let's stop down just for like 2 minutes, just to give it a second to buffer.
Okay, just a second, Charles.
Yeah, I'm just gonna play some music. If you guys can hear this, we'll be right back. I'll leave
Coming
it like
back
at
right to
halfway.
you.
Do you guys want a Red Bull?
Yeah.
We have.
please.
get out of your way. Yeah, it's with the summers I don't miss.
Oh my
It's
God,
so hot.
it's ungodly hot. It is like
Yeah,
it's
already
wet hot.
It's so sticky.
I've only felt that type of heat when I went to the Philippines. It was sticky. The heat
All right. That was a mistake on the weather's fault. We will be continuing here shortly. But let's just do a little bit of a roll call. Austin forgot to do the roll call earlier today. Scroll up to the tip top of this. Shout out to Christy, Paulo, Mari, Yolanda, Skylar with the $20 super chat. We didn't get a chance to get around to that because everything froze. Thank you, Skylar. We're also going to read this again once I come back in. But y'all's conversation is making me want to visit Vegas and visit all of the haunted places as well. It's kind of the whole point of this interview today is resurrecting Las Vegas. I'm sure you guys have seen people are shitting on Las Vegas, saying Las Vegas is dead. Hey, dead rich, dead freaking everybody wants to be Vegas but can't be Vegas. That's where we're at right now. What else can I give you an update from? Back to the roll call. Shaman, Ray, Andre, Michaela, Kamisha. Oh my goodness. Dwayne, Erica. All of our faithful listeners. The chat's been popping today. Do I have the Tarot and T song loaded up? Of course, I always have the Tarot and T song loaded up. Do you want me to like bring it in? Like, now introducing.
I think you should let it ride when she comes back so she can hear it. Because I'm pretty sure people want to see her vibe to it.
People want to see your vibe to it. Okay.
We need to get that episode done.
Yeah.
It's only been 9 months in the making.
It's only been
Is
the
my
most
mic is on?
anticipated
Okay.
premiere of all time.
As we're coming
Okay,
back,
all right,
we'll be
Austin's-
back here in a minute. We're just letting Noah come back. We did start a goal, 10 super chats, $5 or more to do a live paranormal investigation at the Pioneer, so you guys can watch in real time with us. Which
That'd be cool.
Steven, anytime I bring up filming, he would be more upset if I didn't film
Oh yeah.
than if I did film.
Everything should be on record for God's
Everything.
sake. Except for maybe, using the bathroom.
Yeah.
I mean,
That one might be sealed right next to you. No, I think we're out. Is that opened?
We got liquor, and more liquor.
We got
Right
one.
here, babe.
We got liquor, and more liquor.
But so we are at, just want to say a quick shout out to Nikki for the $5 super chat, says just showing love and support you guys. We appreciate that. Skylar with a $19.99 super chat said, y'all's conversations make me want to visit Vegas and visit all the haunted places as well. Well, when you do, let me know because we host ghost tours. And if you come and let us know you hear from Calls from Beyond,
Pull up.
we all gonna have to pull
Hey.
up.
No, but how about
We just throw on the
this?
Calls from
How
Beyond
about this?
t-shirt. Oh,
How about this?
Why don't we have
I'm back,
everybody pull
y'all.
up
I'm sorry,
for,
I needed some water.
For the Marti Gras party.
Not just only the Mardi Gras, but I really want to go back to the Pioneer.
Well,
Maybe we can host a official Calls from Beyond ghost hunt
yeah.
where we promo it and all that good stuff because
Fill it out.
yeah, I had a great time. I really did.
that makes me happy.
Yes,
because
I
that's
had a
the
good
whole
time.
thing.
The
Is
staff
I
was friendly,
I just want
everybody-
people to have a great time while they're there,
And
there's
be
so,
scared shitless.
Yeah.
and that's the thing. There's so many things that Pioneer is known for. It and it has the whole haunted vibe, but to some people, it's a live entertainment venue
Yeah.
because we have a lot of bands play, especially on the weekends. We're all ages, so some people look at it as a family thing. It has a history as a biker bar, so we've got a lot of motorcycle enthusiasts that come out and off-roaders. It's like different things to different
I was
people.
gonna say we also didn't mention the fact, like, I don't know if we mentioned this on the show ever before, y'all, but I don't know if y'all know, but I'm a big video game person, and the Pioneer Saloon was featured in the New Vegas, video game.
Yeah, Fallout.
Yeah,
Fallout. Like, you
Wow.
spawn there when you're.
Did it.
So that was something I didn't know about when I acquired the saloon because the previous owners didn't even use that as a selling point. I didn't think they quite understood the reach of video gamers.
games.
It's my
And
favorite game of all time.
So this Fallout series that has several video games, and the New Vegas particular one is the one that starts in Goodsprings, and it's kind of crazy. Our Goodsprings General Store is in it, which is on the property
usually
as well.
rob it. Not in real life though. I've never robbed them.
Yeah,
I usually
thank you.
rob it.
Pioneer Saloon is
That's
called the Prospector Saloon in the game,
Of course.
but it's clearly our saloon. And even the Goodsprings Elementary School and Cemetery are in the game. So every day we have someone come in for the Fallout side of things, and they're
this-
all over the world.
You have this too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we throw an annual Fallout celebration.
Oh,
and
wow.
It's huge.
it's
I-
November
why don't I
14th,
ever
15th, and
hear about
16th.
this kind of stuff?
This one is starting to get some. You will hear about it because it started out where I just go, hey, let's see if any of the gamers want to get together on a particular day and we can celebrate
Fallout
that side of it.
Festival is
So
crazy.
yeah, so we called it. Well, we used National Video Game Day, which happens to be during the summer, which was a huge mistake in retrospect because people dress up in their
Right,
big
and it's hot.
cosplay outfits and it's hot.
George is about to pull up an image. I don't think that image does it justice with how packed it gets. If you want to pull it up,
it's,
George.
No, but I don't think y'all understand. That's packed.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're talking about
You could see people all in the tents all over to the right.
Yeah, we have to build a whole tent city because
wow.
it's gotten to the point where the first year I thought we'd maybe have like 50 or 100 people show up. We had 1,000.
Wow.
And then so the next year we're like, shoot, we might have 2,000, so we better stay open 2 days and stay open 24 hours because it's
We need to
Nevada. You
scale
can do
this
that out here.
event.
And 3,500 people showed up. Then the next year, then we're like, oh crap! And the next year it was 6,500. So this year it could be 7 to 10.
10,000.
You know, we don't know. We had to start. It was always free, and now we just charge a $45 fee because it would we would lose money on the event because
Yeah.
we can't have thousands of people park in a town of 200 people.
Right. Yeah.
So this time I paid for everyone to be bussed into the town from their cars.
Wow.
And which is great, but if you can imagine busing for 40 hours straight, including
It's
3 in the
expensive.
morning, it was quite brutal. And I have to remind people, I'm not Jeff Bezos or anything.
No,
I'd
right.
love to throw giant parties like this for free, but I'm not that.
Rent out
Yeah.
Venice
So
Beach for
so this year we started charging
Yeah,
$45, but it includes being bussed from Prim to our venue.
not bad at all.
Yeah, and for 3 days, back and forth, so you never have to. There's even a bus that goes from the Strip that weekend to Prim, so someone could literally come from Vegas, not have to drive for 3 days for $45 and just be carried around everywhere. And then we started this Old Man Liver's Mojave Mayhem party in Sandy Valley Ranch, and that went over really well last year. So we're expanding that. So you're actually getting another venue included, and then now we're having tour buses to other spots in the video game.
So KL just asked hotels nearby, which is a little rough.
Yeah,
now.
so it's kind of funny. The one Buffalo Bills is actually also in the video game. They call it Bison Steves, and they've been controversial because they're basically closing down for most of the week for right now, but they're going to be open for our event. Because they're going to be where they gave us a discount, so we can give people a discounted
cool.
room rate, which is
That's the only property that's open out there now, right?
yeah. Because
they
I
closed
think
Whiskey.
Prim Valley might be Whiskey Pizza's closed,
Whiskey
unfortunately.
is- yeah.
Yeah.
That hurt my soul.
And then the Buffalo one is the one with the roller coaster.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is perfect because that's what it looks like in the game.
Yeah.
It's a
Yes.
rundown roller coaster because they don't operate it anymore.
No.
Oh, they don't.
They
But
don't.
you will get sniped from the enemy that's in the town will be up on the. You'll just start getting shot, and you're like, and then you have to look up at the roller coaster, and they're up
must be
there.
Getting old. I
Well,
can
it's
remember
crazy
whenever
because-
it was a thing.
No.
Everything.
Okay, so one thing about those properties, Terrible Herps used to own those properties. And when Terrible Herps used to own those properties, I used to work for Terribles. I used to work at Silver Sevens, or it was Terrible's Hotel at the time.
Right.
And that's where I met Miss Lady at.
What was that? The Gene Terribles? Was
No,
that the one?
I used to work at the one on Paradise and Flamingo.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, so I used to work there when it was still Terribles. I guess it used to be the Continental, and then they changed it to Terribles, and then they changed the name. We rebranded the Silver Sevens and all of that stuff, and they've been busing people back and forth for a long time because they even offer housing out there. So there were people that were living out there,
Yes.
and they would catch the buses back and forth, and people who didn't want to live out there, they would park at our property and they would catch the shuttle, and they pay like maybe $50 a month, and they'd have a shuttle bus come like maybe every 2 hours or
I
something.
think to
that?
this
Yeah.
day it's still housing
still
is
like that,
included.
yeah.
But I think now it's like the Prim family owns it, but Affinity Gaming manages it. But just to finish answering this
Yep.
person's question, there's a discount code SC Fall 2. So SC like Southern California, Fall like Fallout, and the number 2, and that's the one to get the deal at Buffalo Bills. And like I said, you'll be bussed over to the Pioneer Saloon all 3 days, or you can mix and match or do Sandy Valley on Sunday or Pioneer, and then these extra tours we're doing will leave from Buffalo Bills to go to like Hoover Dam and Old Mormon Fort and some of these other places that are in the game as well. Now that's an extra charge because those are other companies that aren't, they're not my companies. But I appreciate they're working with us because I want to get this. In some people case, this is like their first time to America. They're coming from Europe, Australia, all this, and they want to see everything. They want to get in all the spots.
For sure.
And so, but if someone doesn't want to stay there, there's the M Hotel and Casinos, the next closest one. But the Tuscany is very close to the Strip, and that's the one that's going to have a bus coming from it.
I love the Tuscany. We stayed there.
The Tuscany is one of our favorite properties.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Oh,
yeah,
good.
we stayed there after our first wedding because we had a renewal, and then we ran it back for the second one because there's suites. Every room is a suite. They're huge.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about
Oh, yeah, that's right. They're Tuscany suites is what it's
and
called.
then some of the rooms are like presidential suites. So they have like a living room in it, like super big, like 12-person table, like the whole nine. So you can have like a little get together in there. But
is this the one you guys staged?
Which
the wedding?
The first wedding,
oh my
yes.
God.
the first fake
real
wedding.
No, so I went uber viral for telling a joke. So I said that I was trying to get back at my ex, so I hired a paid actor to marry me, right? It was a joke, and that we fell in love, did
you tell him I had a son, or we adopted it?
No, the paid actor baby, because he was a single dad when I met him. So I said that was my paid actor husband, paid actor baby, just to make my ex jealous. And then we actually fell in love and had real children and got married.
That's an awesome story.
Used the first wedding pictures from 14 years ago. And then our real wedding pictures was from our renewal in 2021.
Right.
But they really, like, People Magazine reached out to me over that. It was crazy.
There were people that were reaching out to us trying to, like, make movies about our
I was
story.
like, oh my God, I was joking too close to the sun.
That's awesome.
I'm so sorry, y'all.
I said we should really dig into this.
No.
Like, let's capitalize.
No. People that know us will be like, why are you doing this? Somebody would have they would have told us.
Somebody would have told.
That's funny. That's something I would do. Right?
Yeah, but
that's
we
did know each other in a past life.
We did.
Yeah,
Listen,
clearly,
karmic lover, you know?
Right? Yeah.
But it's just amazing. These are all the things, like, of course you can go for the ghost and all the spookiness, but you do other things, which is amazing.
Like cool vibes.
Very cool vibes.
Like,
and we have the Nevada Blues Festival that we started out there that's getting a lot of traction, and it's free. It's like 14 bands in 3 days for free.
Oh, that's dope.
And, and then then the Marti Gras thing, and we do this breast cancer benefit called Breast Fest.
Spirits with Spirits.
Spirits with Spirits.
Well, I guess now any of those big events, you'll see me anyways.
So what's the thing?
Austin's part of the family now.
What's the thing out there y'all just did the other
Breast
day?
Fest.
That was the Breast Fest.
And it's like the mafia. Once you're in, you can't get out.
Get
so
out.
Austin's like stuck with us.
You guys haven't seen me stand up this episode at all because I can't walk anymore because they took me out back and smacked me in my kneecaps.
You tried to walk away, and that doesn't fly. I'm just saying.
Because you do so many different, sorry y'all, all up in y'all ear, open it again. Because you do so many different events at the saloon. Do you feel like the energy is different with your resident ghosts after or during? Do they hide?
The biggest changes is when we go and stir stuff up.
Yeah.
That's when I notice it, because it'll be a few days after that everyone's seeing more stuff, and we'll have one of our bartenders that's been there for years, all of a sudden will see a shadow following someone around and go, I'm scared to go home.
Yes.
And that throws them off, and I'm like, God, you've been there for years.
I walked out of your saloon backwards. I walked out backwards. I said, no.
Yeah. That's when I noticed.
Yes. And it's been times where he sent me things from the ghost hunt, like that picture of the little boy, and the little boy was behind him. The little ghost boy. That was clear as day. I said, oh my gosh. Or even just the videos. And I'm like, if you do all of this, I mean, they live there. That's their shit at this point.
Oh, that's what we tell them every time we go. We're
I have an attitude.
Observing you.
Yeah, no, and you do, but I have an attitude like, oh my God, here he goes with his cowboy hat, throwing another event. We're tired. We should, ghosts are still people. So it's funny that you say,
they cuss him out. We have it on camera.
Yeah.
They cuss you out?
They did. But that's the truth is out in the Pioneer, it's a sign of love. If you come, if you show up and you go, "What's up, asshole?" That's a sign of affection. And we have this whole charity division called the Asshole Association, which I declared myself emperor of. But it's actually for. You can join it and you have to take an oath and all this stuff. But but the money, the $100 that we charge is a lifetime membership, and it goes towards Goodsprings charities and like the volunteer fire department and the school. A lot of stuff that doesn't get much funding out there. Because it's not Goodsprings is an unincorporated city. It's an unincorporated part of the county. It's not a real town or that has a mayor or anything, so nobody takes care. I'm kind of stuck with that role, which is
like the mayor of Goodsprings now.
It's one of those, and that I didn't expect until like
update the title. We have a mayor on the show.
Yeah, the first time
politician.
The first time someone called me up and it's like, "Hey, there's a bunch of punk kids in the park doing this and that. I think you probably know their parents, so I was going to give you a chance before I call the police." I'm like, "Don't call the police. I'll take care of it. I'll talk to the parent."
Kids were never seen again, by the way.
And I'm like, "Wait, I didn't sign up for this. I'm not getting an extra salary for this thing." So it is kind of a funny, unique part. But another little side note: have you played Fallout New Vegas, the video game?
I have played it.
So the funny thing is, there's a character called Trudy that's in that. She's the bartender in the Pioneer. She's a real person named Monica. That's a friend of mine that's been out there for years. And she got known because they used to call her the singing bartender because she had a wireless setup and she would actually bartend and take orders while she was singing with the band that was playing outside. And she could simultaneously multitask that, which was impressive.
That's so cool. But it also is like they should have gave y'all flowers and called it what it was, because now it's I get it. They would have had to. They would have.
No, because depending on the owner, like.
Because he wasn't, because that game was 08,
I wasn't the owner at the time it was
developed. Get me right. It's obviously bringing traction to your business, so it's like, I'll let you use my business name so that we could draw more attention to my establishment.
To be fair, you've not to pull back too much of the veil, but you said that it sounds like they are pretty cool with you.
We have a good relationship because so Microsoft owns the two divisions that distributed and developed the game.
Okay.
So and we of course own the name and the Goodsprings General Store. They use Goodsprings General Store in their Magic the Gathering deck that they have a special version of for the Fallout thing.
Great set, by the way.
And
great set. Great
and we're cool with that. And we let them do that, and they're cool with us throwing the event because they know it helps benefit them. But most large corporations don't understand that, which so I'm very impressed with them, and they've been very supportive. And
I've tried to find the game multiple places.
And that,
I can't find it.
It's
New Vegas
selling again.
I cannot find it now.
I own it on every It's my favorite game of all time. I have probably 1,000 hours on that game.
And now it's an Amazon show, which it's a hit. It's a live action show called Fallout.
I've heard of Fallout, but I've never. I'm not a gamer, so
if you have Amazon Prime, you can just look up Fallout and see.
So New Vegas is a bit of a weird one because you had Fallout, which was originally made by, I believe, Black Isle. It was another company, which is actually now Obsidian. It was a lot of the same people made, and they were computer games. And then Bethesda got the rights to it and made 3. When they made 3, it really picked up and it got a lot of attention, and they were like, "Oh, let's do one in Vegas." But then they started making Skyrim, which was arguably the biggest game ever. So they go, "We can't make both games." And arguably so, Skyrim is a top 10 game of all time. They needed all their power there. So they hired another company called Obsidian to make New Vegas.
Yeah, I've heard of Obsidian too.
Obsidian, in my opinion,
a lot of games.
They make a good amount. But they made arguably the best Fallout game of the series, and it's the only one made by Obsidian. The other, I think, originally, because the first 2 or 3 that were computer games were made by another company, but a lot of those people ended up being Obsidian. But with New Vegas, it just has such charm and like just goofiness to it, and it's just something that like they've made 2 other Fallout games afterwards, and they're both good. But New Vegas is its own. It almost feels like its own game. And it's because Obsidian made it, and they only made it in 18 months too, which is even crazier because there's so much depth to that game.
And they actually get Goodsprings pretty accurately in the game.
Yeah, I would say they get the layout even because the way you go.
Yeah, where the cemetery is compared to the saloon, compared to the
Mount Charleston
elementary school. So it was interesting. So I started playing the game afterwards because God forbid I got to play video games for work. I'm just saying.
I did it for 3 years.
Gave me an
Crazy.
excuse. I'm like, I got to spend a few minutes each day. And it was neat how accurate it was. And then it felt very much like real life in Goodsprings, because we deal with a lot of characters out there, and the factions are a little different. You know, there might be motorcycle factions, but we have scorpions out there, not necessarily rad scorpions, but we got big scorpions and
If you
tarantulas.
remember my first ghost hunt, in the title scene, there's a giant ass spider. That was right outside the saloon.
Yeah.
Travis and I were there doing follow-up. Yeah, that's
we have
it in the
tarantulas.
game. That's the Prospector Saloon. But in the title screen of my first ever paranormal investigation, which was at the Pioneer, there's a big ass spider, and that was just we were on the side.
you
the
guys
side
are
road.
in the elements for sure.
Yeah.
This is.
Yeah, these tarantulas, there's a time of the year in the fall where the tarantulas are coming down the hill, and sometimes it's like the ground is moving. There's so many of them.
Yeah.
And
Sorry, I know they're not.
I'm not
harmful.
scared of tarantulas.
But it's
tarantulas won't hurt you.
No, I
this
had one
type
growing
won't.
up. My brother did. His name was Mystical.
Mystical.
Oh, that's
You know
cool.
what Mystical is? He's a rapper, and he
Oh,
had
yeah.
these braids.
Yeah,
So
I know
my brother named
Yeah.
him Mystical.
That's awesome.
Real quick, KL Straight said, so if we were
I
part
was
of
just
the
about to say that.
if we were part of the weird Calls from Beyond community and joined the asshole league of Goodsprings, then we'd be weird assholes. Sign me up.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Weird assholes. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we'd happy to
No,
have you.
and then it's funny because the ghosts have caught on too, and they don't have to pay a membership fee. So have
Right.
you heard,
That-
hey asshole? What's up,
Oh
asshole?
yeah. So that's what he was referring to when I first got, and I was like, wow. I wasn't looking. It was a friend of mine had passed away not that long before, and I wasn't ready to try to contact or commit. But he was in tune with the vibe of the saloon. Like he was as big a part as anybody, and his spirit is there no matter what, whether you believe in ghosts or not.
Yeah.
And when in this particular case, I was like, yeah, I'm an asshole. I'm head of the Asshole Association. And then he was like, fuck you. And that
On
was
the spirit box, we have this on
yeah.
camera.
And there was no cussing the rest, any of the other times or anything. This one, and then I had to show Austin and Brian. I'm like, look, we have a shot named after him called the "Fuck You Fun" shot. Sorry, I forgot to ask if I can cuss on
You
this.
can cuss.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no, no.
But it was a term of endearment because he always got the same drinks, and it was these terrible mixtures of beer.
I think you told us about
It's in
him
the
and-
first ever
yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
that we ever
Brian's
did.
hair on his arm is like, oh my god, like you didn't tell me any of this. Like they didn't know any of that.
Yeah, we didn't know
Brian.
until we were wrapping up. Thankfully, we still had a camera out because we were putting everything away.
Yeah.
George and Travis are tearing down all the equipment, and then he's like, "Film this." He's talking to me and Brian. I was like, "Brian, you got to film this right now."
Right.
And Steven tells me that, and I was like, "I think we talked because they had a shrine for Flynn in the dining room at the time." I was like, "We just made contact with
Yeah.
Flynn."
Yeah, it was bizarre.
Which we've made. Unfortunately, you've had other employees pass away, and we've
Yes.
made contact with them
Yeah.
That's crazy.
at the Pioneer.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's yeah, we've had 3 employees pass away since we took over like 3 or 4 years ago. Which we hire. We don't. Ageism isn't a thing out there, so we have older folks that have been
Yeah.
around for decades and stuff, and we're second chance employers, so we give people a shot. That have had pretty rough lives and stuff, and so I guess it's not that surprising, but it's we just weren't expecting that, and everybody. Kind of like the mayor thing, I didn't expect to be a funeral director, but a lot of these folks couldn't afford,
Right.
stuff. So we had to help in, like with the Asshole Association, help with, the funeral, burial and the process. And all of them wanted to do celebrations at the Pioneer, which was sweet. All the families did because they were like, this was a special place to them. And that makes you feel good. But it was a lot to take in. And getting back to the whole Trudy thing, what I was starting with on that was she actually eventually became in the video game, she's the mayor of Goodsprings. And in real life, she became the head of the Citizens Advisory Council, which is the closest thing to a mayor that we have.
Yeah.
And so it's like art, life imitating art type
Yeah.
thing, which is
that's
pretty
crazy.
trippy. But yeah, a few people have been out there for decades, and they inspired characters in the video game,
yeah.
and there's still 2 or 3 of them still work with us. So it's kind of fun. One guy doesn't really acknowledge that he's a character, but but he is. The town, Doc Mitchell really is.
Yeah, who? I don't.
town.
Have I met who?
No, you haven't.
Okay.
He's the head of the Goodsprings Historical Society.
Okay. Well, I probably get to know him.
You will,
probably
yeah.
Before too long.
You'll see him now, just being out there. But he lives in the video game. The doctor lives on the nice house on the hill, and our own town doctor lives on the nice house on the hill. And so it's kind of sweet. I don't know if he really understands that he's in the game to this day.
but
He's just
arguably one of the best
there.
games ever, and he's just
Yeah, right,
I don't
yeah.
know.
You know they take pictures of your house whenever you're not looking, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right. Just so you know, you got fans.
So George pulled up Trudy. This is Trudy.
Yeah, so Trudy, her real name is Monica, and
I always help her fix her radio.
yeah,
in the
yeah,
game.
you've met her a
Does
few
she look
times.
like that?
Huh?
Does she look like that?
I don't think I've ever seen. I might have seen Monica. I haven't met
Yeah,
Monica.
this
Does
is-
she look like that?
15 years ago, that was a pretty accurate.
Yeah, because this game came out in
Okay.
2010.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so, but even Doc Mitchell, he would have been around the age, the real Doc Mitchell 15 years ago.
Now is Gordy, because he's
Gordy's Easy Pete.
He's Easy Pete, which is
Yeah.
the guy with the dynamite. Which after I've gotten to know Gordy a little bit better now. Spot on.
Oh yeah.
Now that I know him
He's
a little bit.
actually a wackier, funnier individual in real life than he is in the game.
Yeah, in the game he's very stoic and
Yeah,
serious.
yeah,
and you're gonna blow
he's
yourself
a
up.
goofball in real life.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
So
hilarious.
you would say it was an accurate depiction, minus the ghosts.
Yeah.
They didn't put the ghost in there.
Well,
did they?
they've got ghouls and fiends and stuff in the
Okay.
game and stuff, so it's kind of works in that that vibe.
They probably had a scout come out and like spend a few weeks out there. Like
I think
just-
they
Yeah,
had
the developers were out in Goodsprings for a while,
Okay.
taking pictures and notes and watching
okay.
people.
That's
and-
Gordy.
Yeah, that's
Easy Pete.
Easy Pete in the game.
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's
Oh, that's where the little boy was playing peekaboo with me.
Yeah.
I just knew
Oh,
I was
yeah.
gonna see his
Oh, they're
shoes
gonna
in the
try-
back.
which
They're gonna
booth were
curtain.
you in? Were you in
I
that
was-
far right?
No,
We
we
were-
were
in the
right
table.
behind him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They were in
behind
that
him.
table.
Oh yeah,
And-
yeah. In the
and that
middle.
curtain was closed, and I promise I went in there. I don't remember what I went in there for. I don't know why.
In
But I
the
went
dining room?
In the dining
It's
room.
because you were like, it's so heavy in here. I'm gonna
Yes.
step away.
And then ran into a baby ghost, and I was just like, oh, okay, all right. He was right. It's for real haunted.
Yeah, yeah.
It's haunted.
Yeah.
haunted.
Yeah, it's
So,
and it's one of those even like if you're like y'all being naturally connected to that
Yes.
world,
Oh,
if
my
you're
God.
connected to it, the energy there is tangible.
oh
like,
yeah.
you can feel
When
it.
I walked in, you had a bar full of people, and I was like, oh my gosh, he's greeting me, and I'm like pulling at my collar like.
And I was like,
Oh,
yep,
yeah.
it's already hitting you in it. And
There's
we
people
ate
that-
there too. We ate. And
Yeah.
We were there for a
There
good
was
hour
somebody that
before.
took an Uber out and they got out of the car, felt the vibe, and left. And I'm like, that's not great for business, but I mean,
Right.
if you're into the haunted stuff, it's
I
it's
can
great.
honestly say that the ghosts they're not spooky. They just
I would say there's one that
it's
is
one that's a little aggressive, and I feel like that was the one where I was like, okay, I'm gonna pull you up a chair.
So the one we just released, which this happened a few months ago, but that was the card game one. I believe that dark entity is Paul Akosky because of what I was asking. I was like, "Are you Paul?" And it kept coming back, yes. Mm-hmm. Which usually they have the employees have another name for him named Mr. Butterfield, which is with Mikey. Mikey's always the first one we get. He's super excited to see everybody. He's playing with all the equipment. And you'll be talking to him, and it'll say nice things like milk or play or ball. Or one time, I think he said disc like frisbee. And we're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yes.
And then almost every time it'll say violent entered, everything stops.
Everything stops. Yeah.
Yeah, for like a good 20 to 30 minutes. And you're like, oh,
I think he's a little bit of a bully
yeah, yeah.
because I was like, okay. And then so I pulled the seat up. I'm like, I know y'all are excited to talk. Even though I felt like it was like this.
Right.
I'm like, but have a seat. You ain't got to be all up on me like that,
Yeah.
But we had a great time, and I would love to host
Yeah.
like an official ghost hunt there for all of our followers because
Yeah.
it's just a vibe. It's a time. It's old timey. You go back 100 and something years.
Yeah,
when you
it
start
But the
takes
good
you
part of
back.
going back 100 and something years, not the bad parts.
No, not the bad parts. But you can obviously tell like this place is untouched, but it's been beautifully kept in those years.
But I feel like even the journey to get to Goodsprings
It's
is
very-
It's a
scary.
pretty drive.
Yeah.
It's pretty, but it's scary because
Well,
when we
we
went, it
were-
was a little
You went at
darker.
like
black.
9 p.m.
was-
and
Oh,
you
yeah.
see all of the candles and
Oh,
crosses, and it's like,
I'm like, wait a minute.
how many people die going up this
Yeah.
road?
He walks in and he goes, Austin, where the hell do you have me right now?
Right, yeah, like where? Why
See, like
so
13,
many? Are they
13
old?
memorials on the
that-
way up there.
That highway takes a lot of lives because it's just dangerous. It's an old school, two-way highway, and it's easy.
Swerve.
Yeah, if you're
drinking or something.
Yeah, it's more people that are tired.
Yeah.
And then they'll all you got to do is just go a few feet and hit the wrong person at the wrong time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
Or
it's-
hit a rock and
yeah. So you got to be careful, but I want to tell people, don't take Ubers out there because they'll drop you off. They won't pick you up. So that's the other thing that I want people to know. But
they won't pick you up?
They won't. No, if you call an Uber out there, nobody wants to drive out to pick you up. But if you get one in town, they'll take you there. But our managers are always taking people home all the time.
Yeah.
It's like,
because it's
I figure it's like 30 minutes.
30, 40
Now,
minutes.
if we were to
minimum.
host something, I would definitely do something like you did.
Yeah.
A meeting point, a shuttle
Well,
bus,
not to give too
Yeah.
much away, but I have been talking to Steven about potentially
doing
some
big things.
some big paranormal
some big
things.
Yeah.
You
And
already
we-
know Noah and Mr. Fresh are going to be top of the roster on that one.
We want to do a RV park across the street too.
Oh, that would be really dope.
and even pre-set like vintage Airstream type things where if you just want to rent it for the night, you can.
Yeah.
Or you can bring your own and pull up and rent the space or whatever. But that way people can drink without having to worry about driving back to
Wow,
Vegas.
yeah.
And some people just want to spend the week out there or weekend or whatever and go, I like the vibe. It's pretty.
Yeah.
It's cooler. I want to explore the desert.
Yeah,
Like,
because I want to go deeper past the saloon because I can't believe there's anything else out there.
It's crazy. And if you go past the town, there's this whole vast valley on the other side of Goodsprings on the west side that's beautiful and it's just untouched to see miles. And like I haven't explored it to the extent that I want to.
Yeah.
So there's a lot. And then, just and there's neat things to find on the ground. You can still find old stuff that's from the 1800s.
Wow.
And like literally a lot of us, we have a little mini museum in the dining room.
Yeah.
And a lot of that's donated by locals that have, they're like, this is a cigarette from a mine that I had from, the 1850s. And I didn't even know some of these cigarette companies were around that long,
Right.
which is crazy. So there's neat things. And it was a mining town. So there was gold, silver, lead, zinc, all this stuff. And
Yeah.
There might
there's
still be
little
some-
spots, that still,
George, you thinking what I'm thinking?
Yeah.
So
We're going to become miners.
You can
Don't-
go down there. You already
Go
said
ahead.
we got bobcats.
don't go in mine shaft.
No, I'm gonna get some life insurance. What you mean about to become a minor?
Well, that's when you said, we're thinking about going down your mine shaft. That was one thing. One of the real miners from back in the day that I've talked to that really mined in Goodsprings, like in the 40s and 50s, and they're like, they saw pictures of my mine shaft, and they're like, the concrete foundation looks solid. But if you went down there, you would suffocate at the bottom because there's no oxygen. And I'm like, oh crap, I didn't think about
oh
that.
My gosh.
Also, the ladder breaks halfway off.
Yeah,
Down. So
Yeah, he
Right,
sent me
yeah.
that video
And I
of
wouldn't
him-
trust that ladder
No,
even halfway.
whenever
I
you
sent
sent
it
me
to,
the
I sent it to
video,
you when we were
said-
driving back because George and I
said,
drove out
this
together.
Man is a psychopath. Why are you giving me a heart attack in a video? I know you survived, obviously, but I was holding my breath.
Yeah.
And then you were like, is somebody down there? Like, there's a spirit that's down there.
Yeah.
On top of that, and I'm like, you was gonna put that poor little boy in.
Trey didn't even go with us, so it wouldn't have even worked. But
All he had to do is get a 40-foot rope and just hang a
You have
camera down there.
cameras.
yeah,
Maybe you can do that. Get
Why you
get
ain't
one
fly a
of those.
drone?
I
down there.
was gonna get like a
Thanks, honey.
See, that's what I'm talking about. I don't even want to crack open. But
yeah, I want to get like a GoPro, so I'm not worried about like it getting damaged or anything, but get it with the IR filter
they're like
off.
$52 on
Well,
Amazon.
to get the
For
IR
Amazon.
filter, which is how you see
In
how
the
we do.
dark.
Yeah,
I got you.
you have to modify them, and that usually adds a little bit to them. But even then, get that, put a little light, IR light on it. We lower it down. I don't know, George. You think that'll work?
I think we just got to go down it, bro.
Oh man, no. See,
gotta
he's
go
made,
down.
We're gonna
you
send
know,
George
don't
down
listen
there.
to George. George
We're gonna
is
send
a boulder.
George down
Okay,
there.
Send me down there with flashlight. I find.
He'll survive.
Oh,
Fall
George.
down
One
there.
day-
He's solid.
George, you
I-
silly goose.
One day I'll be minor.
You guys want to be miners now? Like,
Make more money in gold than owning a business, maybe.
that's
If
true.
things don't go
That's
good
what's
at
funny.
home, I'm going.
That is the funniest thing about owning the Pioneer Saloon is people will come in like on a busy Saturday in the fall when the weather's nice and
Yeah.
it's crowded or whatever. And like, oh, you're making money hand over fist. I'm like, you have any idea the expenses a 112-year-old fixer-upper takes? Like the original septic tank there alone was never designed to handle volume, and we have to, we need to empty it like weekly, where normally a septic lasts years before you have to go and pump it or something like that.
A lot of shit.
And a lot of shit, right. I had to the point where I had to start a shit company to handle, because everyone tried to rip us off on the prices, and everyone treats goods, even though it's 30 minutes away. And some of these Southern Vegas companies will go to North Vegas, which might take an hour.
Yeah.
They act like we're in another state, even though we're only 30 minutes away.
Right.
So it's hard to get, trash pickup and normal stuff that people take for granted. And so you're overcharged for everything. And eventually I had to just start my own septic and concrete company because I was sick.
It's probably cheaper.
Yeah, it was cheaper. Yeah. To start
a whole new business.
I can have at least other clients, but at least service ourselves. And so it's very expensive that, people.
Yeah, because it's an older venue.
Yeah, and you deal with electricity going out
Like today?
Like the storm we're just having, we had to close because the electricity, and if it's out for a certain amount of time, you have to throw away all the food. Yeah. And that's painful when you got to throw away thousands of dollars of food and because your refrigerators go out. So it's funny. So people that really know business, this is a lot to keep up, and you have 30 employees and there's this and that, but other people that don't really understand just think it's like a gold mine and you must be.
But I think that
you gotta think it's a saloon as well.
And
heating,
restaurants aren't the best investment to begin with.
Right.
Then you add that it's a restaurant in the middle of nowhere in a town of 200 people. So it's a challenge. It's a marketing challenge to get people out to a destination. To your point, when you first went there, you're probably like, where's Austin taking me? Like,
I literally was like, oh my God, I had anxiety just driving.
Right. It's like, where am I going? Did I get tricked?
Because my mom, she used to work in jeans. So I've been out that way. Yeah. But it's different whenever you turn off that freeway and it's just that two-way street. No lights.
Drive for another 15 minutes up the hill. And
I'm like, I don't see any civilization out here. All I see is memorials on the side of the road.
And you're the only car.
I'm the only car. I said, oh my God, this is.
What's funny is I've only been out before I started working with the Pioneer. I'd only been out there in the day once. So I didn't even know what it looked like to have people there. I was like, oh, this is what it.
Oh, weird.
I'd love to come out on just like a Saturday afternoon. And,
it's neat because at different times it's different vibes. Like a Tuesday morning can be totally different than a Saturday night, of course. And
I got you.
And to me, I'll tell people I don't just come out on the weekend. I come during the week when the bartenders might have time to tell you some of these stories and their ghost stories and their experiences, and a lot of them have been there for years, so they're very interesting. But like on a Saturday afternoon during lunch hour, we're busy, we're rushed, so it's neat to get. There's so many different vibes on one property. That's what's fascinating to me. It's never the same day.
It was crazy to me because when we went out there, it was like. It was 3 cars in a parking lot. So you see 3 cars in the front.
Well, that was that parking lot. There's a side parking lot too.
Right, but so me coming for the first time and just seeing that, I'm like, oh, it's only 3 cars. That's what we did. And then we walk inside and it's a full bar.
Well, do you remember that guy that walked in? The guy that walked in?
Who, the black guy?
Yeah, he said, oh, the black people.
Right, he would know. The guy said that to us. He said, oh, what y'all doing out here? I said, what you doing out here? I didn't know we be out here, bro. He was like, I come out here a lot. And it worried me because, he's at the bar. He was a little tore up. I could see it. And he was getting on a motorcycle. I was like, Jesus, this is why there's so many.
And that's funny. And people have that natural connection.
Yeah.
Somebody told me about like a guy, I guess it was another Uber situation, and he was Hispanic. And he pulls up and then just wanted to leave because he's like, I don't think people like me are allowed in there. And that like hurts my feelings because I'm like, we're inclusive and we love diversity and all this stuff. And they freak out when they meet Tyler and he's a gay bartender. They're like, you've got gay people out here?
No,
because there's no gay people in Nevada.
I'm not even gonna. I'm not gonna lie to you. Whenever he first brought the idea of going to the Pioneer, I was like, absolutely not. And he's why?
She was like, the ghosts don't like my kind of people.
I said, those ghosts are old. They're from the 1800s and the early 1900s, and my kind was not. And she was like,
I know those ghosts are racist.
Right.
They're back from the really racist days.
But whenever I went, I got the ghosts. They was chilling. It's like they've almost been there so long. They're accustomed to seeing all type of people. So I didn't really get that.
They probably had a culture shock in like the 80s.
But,
they were like, whoa.
Yeah, like what is going on? But
because that's one thing I love. And sometimes I'll even notice it when I walk in on a Saturday morning or something. It's really neat for me because I'll be like, oh, there's a biker. There's a businessman. There's a child playing. There's like people from every walk of life.
Yeah.
And they're all coming together.
Some greasy gamer in full garb is trying to walk from Vegas to Goodsprings.
Yeah, gamers are easy to notice because they come in and they're just like they feel like they're in the game, like they're looking around the wall and
level up.
Yeah, so
2 health
so
points.
that's fun. But that's one message I want to get out there, like that we like the diversity thing, and people don't usually go out there to get in fights and stuff. Like you're out there to have fun and meet other people and we'll have people, like the other day there were these 2 people that had both grown up in a small town in New Jersey, hadn't seen each other in 25 years and ran into each other at the Pioneer Saloon.
Wow.
And in Goodsprings of all places. Yeah. And so but it's got that vibe, and then you meet people and you become friends, and all of a sudden they're lifelong friends. Like I have so many lifelong friends that I would not have had if the Pioneer Saloon wasn't involved, and I didn't know that was going to be part of it. Yeah. But it's a cool thing, and I hear that all the time. And people, like one guy came from the Nevada Blues Festival, and he's like, I've been out here 27 years, and I never came out. And then the Blues Festival thing being free, I was like, that's my excuse to go out there. And now he comes like 3 times a week. He can't get enough. He loves.
It's really a vibe. It's really a vibe, and it's good because you created a culture in the desert for everything, for Goodsprings just in general. You can go for festivals, ghosts, good time, restaurant, whatever the case is. And I had never been out there. I have passed it coming into Vegas and leaving Vegas 1,000,001 times. And I didn't know that there was this little quaint town with 200 people in it in a haunted saloon.
Yeah. I just want to shout out real quick, Spongy in the chat. So I met her through Spirits with Spirits.
Oh, cool.
So she was actually part of that big group with the guy who brought something with him. But she had a really, really wild interaction there. But so now she's a fan of the show and is watching all of our content.
Hey,
and so it's kind of the same thing to your point, where it's like I met her through last year through Spirits with Spirits, and then now she, we still keep in touch. And
it's beautiful. It's a place that you come to commune, even though it is these haunted,
That's what makes the community fun.
That's what makes the community. So I definitely will talk after this because I really do want to do a ghost hunt. I want to come back out. I wouldn't even mind bringing. No, I'm not bringing my kids. No, because see, my 5-year-old is not afraid.
Try to play with the ghost.
He's not afraid of anything.
Like, hey, Mikey, you want to play with this toy?
He'd be like, Mikey,
some stuff up.
Mikey, I brought my Pokemon cards. I'm about to try to beat you right now.
Come on, Mikey, let's go.
They're not afraid of that type of stuff because of who they're.
Come on, no, don't be like no ghosts over.
Yeah, but my kids, they're not necessarily afraid of that kind of stuff. Because,
I wonder why.
Well, when you grow up with it.
Yes. You got my daughter who's 12 and partially a medium. And
I'd say she's a little more inclined than you are.
Well, your line of work technically isn't like a non.
I talk to dead people for a living.
Yeah, so.
I thought about buying a spirit box, but I was like, you know what? I opened a portal once upon a time just doing regular.
You know where my spirit box is when I'm not taking out to investigations? In public storage.
Yeah.
They can be haunted. I ain't bringing them out.
I don't want to know.
Yeah.
I don't want to know.
Well, that's why I'm so used to just living in this world and then not getting any refuge when we go home.
Yeah.
Because my house is only 4 minutes stumbling distance from the Pioneer Saloon. And so it's very easy to, if I have a few beers and let's just stay here for tonight instead of driving back to Vegas.
Gotcha. Right.
But now I'll be in the Pioneer Saloon by myself. I don't know if I would stay over at my own house now without someone else there.
Well, after
Wow.
when we went, which
Yeah.
I think we might have to go back.
It's a weird thing.
That
and,
is
and,
crazy.
and my current neighbor, Larry of kghosradio.com, he'll appreciate the shout out.
Yep.
He's got a little local radio station out there that's really cool, big antenna, and they're called K-Ghost. And so it's perfect. And he's all into the paranormal stuff. And he has a podcast that does aliens and ghosts and such.
Okay.
And but he eventually told me, he's like, that's why the guy moved out of your house, because he couldn't take it anymore.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh,
You moving
yeah,
out.
thanks for telling me. And
Shady
even when
as
he has
hell.
something in his house, he doesn't feel the vibe. And he's like, it came from your house. Like
Yeah.
it was just coming
You
through.
gave me roaches.
Yeah, like, yeah, seriously.
It's
And
like
I'm
everybody waited until he closed on the house first. Is it closed? Is it
Yeah.
finalized?
Yeah.
All right,
Your
yeah,
shit
that's,
haunted as fuck.
that's why
Well,
he moved out.
and the only thing, I never met the guy that owned it before me, but one funny thing is right when we took over, I got a call from the police and going, oh, somebody's inebriated in front of the saloon, and they kicked in your sign, because we had a special sign, and they were, kind of mad or belligerent or whatever, and kicked it through. And the cop's like, do you want to press charge? And like, no, just tell him to pay $50 for the sign and whatever. It turns out he was the guy that I bought the house from before I bought it. And all the employees were joking. They're like, oh, we need to get the word out that if you mess with Steven's property, he'll buy your house from you. And I'm like, don't say buy the house, say I'll take your house. Or something. Make it sound a little more menacing.
Yeah, buy my house. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
Especially with these markets. You
yeah,
don't want to threaten nobody with
Goodsprings
those.
ain't cheap anymore. But
Yeah.
but eventually, Goodsprings. You talk about how remote it is. Vegas is expanding so far out from the valley
Yeah.
that 30 years from now it could legitimately
Probably,
be a neighborhood
yes.
of Las Vegas, which as residents we don't like. People have asked. I did like an NPR interview or something where they're asking from a business perspective if that's cool or not, because one of the things they're doing is building a big airport out there that will be bigger than the Harry Reid Airport in town.
Where?
In Jean.
What?
So yes, between Jean and Prem.
Wow.
And it is.
Oh no, they're
I've
about
never
to come
heard
and try
about
to
that.
colonize
Yeah,
our shit.
it's-
I can tell
Hey,
you right
it's
now.
crazy.
but Vegas is dying.
Yeah. Vegas ain't dying. I'll tell you that.
Can't, right,
Anytime
can't
you
put
build a
money in the
bigger airport
schools.
than the current, and our airport is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
pretty good
yeah. So we were.
internationals.
I was having to, explain. There's good and bad to that
Yeah.
because it's a few years away, but at some point we'll have to contend with it, and it's probably good from a business standpoint in the fact
Yeah.
there'll be more
Right.
people out there
Right.
that want somewhere to go for lunch or something. But the problem is. A lot of films and TV shows and music videos are done out there because we're such a great filming location because there's no air traffic. So the
Yeah.
audio guys
So
love
here
it because
they-
it's all
yeah.
quiet.
And then
And
here
then
they
there's
come
plenty
with
of
the
parking.
airport.
Well, I
and
wonder
we're-
why there's no air traffic if
Right.
knowing the history
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
with the plane crash.
And we have
Yeah.
a built-in catering service because we're a restaurant there, so we're like a full-service movie studio to a site. So
Yeah.
we just we did like a Matt Rife movie not too long ago, which is funny because he just wanted to hear ghost stories all night when we hung
Yeah.
out in between scenes and stuff. But I don't want to lose that either because it's a neat film location, and we've had Cheech and Chong's Things Are Tough All Over, and Miss Congeniality too, and
Truly
all
Bizarre.
truly bizarre. I like the way you
plugging
throw
it.
So you
sneak in your
plug
plugs.
your stuff, but you won't plug the old man.
Yeah, what
liver
about
whiskey.
Old Man Liver
I haven't
American
had,
whiskey?
he's never offered it to me, to be fair.
Okay.
From
so,
oldmanliver.com where you can have it
Yes,
shipped.
so I did
to my
not know.
house.
To your
So I
house.
come in and I see this bottle of Old Man whiskey and our Old Man liver whiskey, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
so
yes.
that's me, which is funny. This graphic, by the way, I took in my backyard. I was wearing just a robe and holding my guitar, and I did a selfie. And then I ran it through a free silhouette app I had on my phone, and then sent it to our San Antonio marketing team that turned it into the label. And then, of course, you have to get, as I told you, I didn't know all the hassles that would come with trying to start a whiskey, but you have to have your label approved by the federal government.
Yeah, FDA.
So my alcohol attorney calls me and is like, you can't use orgasmic as a flavor profile. And I said, why not?
That's a fucking crime.
Yeah, I'm like,
That's
what are
a
you
crime.
talking about? So but
Government overreach is too much.
yeah, that was my attitude, but I still snuck in a couple
Orgasmic.
lines that I'm surprised they let me keep on there. So
Right.
if you buy a bottle, read the back label. It's fairly amusing.
Yes, and I'm gonna come down to, and it's available in
Yeah,
a
so
lot of
we're in
places.
multiple states, but then we can ship to most states if you
Yeah.
can't, if we're not in
What's the website?
your state. Oldmanliver.com.
Old Man Liver. I love that.
Yeah,
name.
so and now it started out a band, and because I call it the Old Man Liver Band, because I was in LA, and when you turn 30
Sorry, I'm reading
in LA,
this.
see, I told you it's funny.
Wait, let me see.
In LA, you're considered old when you hit 30.
Right.
You know, if you're in the acting or entertainment world, and in this case, I was a guitar player for a band called Early Dawn, and we've been together for years and years. But then
I did show them that video. I did fill in for them.
yes,
the
that's
other
right.
day.
Yeah, Austin did. We were doing a little acoustic jam the other day, and Austin jumped on the bass, pulled out his old
Yeah,
licks.
because the prodigal son, all keys are in what?
The C. It's the whole song's in C.
Yeah.
See, he paid attention to my
Yeah.
story when I posted it.
So I was like telling you, because of course, the songs that we've released that are the best are the most simple, like 3-chord tunes because they're catchy. So like the songs I'm most proud of are not the ones that made us any money or anything. It's the dumb ones that are just really simple to write that get the most traction. And so, but when I turn 30, people are like, "Oh, you still going to keep doing this rock and pop thing in your 30s?" I'm like, I'm not ready to quit playing music.
Here you are in your
At this age, but that was my point. I was like, hey, B.B. King played club gig into his 80s, and Les Paul had a club gig in his 90s, and I don't put myself in that category of guitar player, but I'm like, I don't want to just give up, at a certain age. So I started a side project called Old Man Liver. And then people just started calling me Old Man Liver because it was the name of the band, but they just assumed because I was the leader of the band and then I just took it on. But it was a music project that was meant to be a big FU to the record industry. So ultimately, I started my own record company, which we've been successful.
You have done everything. You're like the Ken doll.
Well, I'm just like if I can't.
He has the
only-
website up. Come party with me.
Yes,
Oh
you
my
see,
god.
that's why I was just like, I read. Okay, let me read the back. This last line.
My media shit.
My media shit.
No, it says on the back.
Can't put that.
It says it's a little spicy and not too sweet, like
You
all
wasn't
great
supposed to read it.
sex.
You supposed to make them.
Yeah, you're supposed to make them buy it. So
They
they
don't buy it.
No, it has a few other lines, but this is the website. I
the
can't wait
ale
to
is really good
taste.
too, though. I
Thank you.
haven't had the whiskey, but I have had the ale. That stuff is really good.
I'm drinking a Coors Light right now just because you guys don't carry Busty Blonde, but we do have our
got it.
beer
How
is
dare
getting
you.
traction now.
How
It's
dare
Can we
you.
order that online?
yeah. Oh no, not the beer yet.
Can I-
Actually, you know what? That's a good question.
Can like a truck drive by and it falls off the back if like
Yes, that
an
can.
envelope arrives at your
Yeah,
doorstep?
the beer's a little different because it's made locally here in,
Oh,
in
okay.
Vegas, and we have we can only sell it in Nevada at the moment.
Okay.
We might be able to ship it. I will have to look into that. But now it's funny
Just go
because
pick up a carton of it at Pioneer.
now the Old Man Liver brand is it's got greeting cards and beer and beef jerky and podcasts and books and music and stuff. So it's funny. It's
That's dope.
just through the years,
It's
and
starting
we're
to
like,
incorporate
if
and
it
turn into
and everything is working, this is like, why stop?
Yeah.
Let's
Right.
keep going until someone makes us stop. And so we have a lot of fun with it. And the idea is the brand is funny and silly, but the product is actually good and
Yes, 90
flavorful.
proof.
Yeah,
It's
so-
90 proof.
and it's oaky, smoky, and a little spicy. But I like flavor. Louisiana,
Yeah.
you like flavor. It's not
Yeah.
necessarily hot. People get that
are you playing, George?
misconception
Yeah.
because they'll say,
Cut me off
"Oh,
at
Louisiana,
the
it's
dick."
real spicy." It's not necessarily spicy. It's just flavorful.
Yes,
and that's
yes.
what I like. So our brand is like flavorful, whether it's the whiskey or the
Mm-hmm.
beef jerky, whatever. And hot, we have hot sauce. We have a spice mix, kind of like a Tony Chachere's or a Lowry's type thing.
I love my Tonys.
So it's a lot of fun, and we have a great time with it. And we're like, might as well keep going. And then I always have to remind myself that the music is where it all started. So I
Yes.
try to get back to still doing live gigs and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
That's dope.
So let me get this straight. Whiskey, Ghost, Fallout Festivals, Marti Gras, What else? Is there anything that I missed?
Well, he said concrete and shit removal company.
Yeah,
yes.
Quick Care.
Yes.
It's called Quick Care Specialty Services.
You see, this is
The record company we've
Oh, I
done,
forgot.
and you would
Record
probably
company.
know we've done some of these like Charmed. We did the soundtrack for
What?
the show called Charmed.
What?
Well, you know that's not
yeah.
just a show
So-
called Charmed, right?
Yeah, I
well,
was-
a lot
like
of
the-
younger
Did
people
I ever
might
tell
not
you
have
I was
heard
I
of it.
Rose
used to
McGowan's
love
producer
Charmed.
for
I'm in
like
my
a day?
30s. I used to love
My mom
Charmed.
watched that. I
Hey,
watched, but Rose,
Charm was my favorite soap opera.
it was great.
Don't tell nobody.
Rose McGowan, I was her producer for like a week at the old studio.
Oh, that's
For
funny.
real, like I was gonna produce her show.
So yeah, a buddy of mine, because that's my whole point. I'm like, well, if my record company drops me, if another record company drops me, because at one time I was distributed by Warner Brothers, but I was like, this way I can distribute myself. So if someone says you're too old, I can go screw you. I'm signing myself, and I'll be in my own record company.
And the joke's on him. He drops himself.
Yeah, I fired myself. I was so bad. But and we did the Saw movies, which are horror movies.
What?
There's like 11 of.
Sir.
No, I'm learning this with you now.
Yeah, so we did the first 8 Saw movies. We
first
did all those
8?
soundtracks.
Because there's like
No, there's
38.
like 11 of them. I'm not even
Right,
kidding.
and
Is
he's
there
like,
11?
that Saw movie. Of course,
Like you
we know.
you wrote for it or
Saw.
distributed for it?
No, we were the soundtrack producer. So like,
Oh.
and soundtracks are easy because a lot of the songs are already ready to go. Although we did NCIS, which had one of the actors, her name was Polly Perrette, and she wanted to. She was a singer, so she wanted to do her
It's
own.
NCIS,
She wanted
Just
to
no
do
big deal.
her own song on the soundtrack. So that's one you have to go into the studio and produce. And,
Right.
But generally, it's almost like putting collections together.
So somebody's asking. So do they ship?
The beers.
Yeah. The whiskey that you do.
the
right?
whiskey for
Whiskey,
sure
yeah.
is
But
online.
only for some states, or is that?
Yeah, most states it's legal,
Okay.
but you have to look at your own state of whether.
Okay.
I don't know how much that's actually tracked if they know a beer is going to someone's
Orgasmic should
house
be
or
a
not.
flavor profile.
And they're like, yes, they went and read the flavor profile, and they're like, it tastes like it
not
tastes
right.
like Louisiana. That's what it really just.
Hey,
comes down to
thanks.
as
That's, see,
flavor.
there you got my marketing.
Yes.
Thanks.
Well,
You'll get a
well,
check in the mail in about 3 to 5 years. That's how he pays.
I promise. I'm so excited to taste it because I like to go between rum and whiskey. I love a good whiskey. And I like
love
it
whiskey.
straight
Me too.
up, you know?
Me too.
So I'm really excited to.
Sometimes we get raggedy with whiskey, and we'll have like a whiskey Rita.
So
where
I-
you use
No.
the margarita mix,
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
but make it
See
with
how that
whiskey
tastes.
instead. It's phenomenal.
he's-
I can't wait for
bought
you to
in.
try it. I'm gonna.
No.
Yeah,
It's
No,
phenomenal.
I'll
so-
get you. I'll hook you up.
So what I did was, because we ran out of tequila and I wanted a margarita, so we made a J-Mo-rita, which is Jameson.
I love Jameson.
yeah.
And surprisingly, I don't know why that went together so well.
Jameson is just so good.
It's just that good.
It's like
but
the
I
sweet and
know.
sour.
I love
the
Jameson
lime
and root
juice.
beer. It tastes like a root beer float.
Yeah, I
like a
can
hard
believe
root
that.
beer float. It's so good.
Yeah, it's. I mean,
Welcome to
as
Spirits
kids-
with Spirits.
Yes,
We're
maybe
focusing
we'll
on
do
this-
that again. We'll get a bottle and we'll come back and have some old man liver whiskey and just do
Well,
this.
Yeah.
again.
Well, no. Since Austin said he never had it, once we get a bottle, we're gonna have to live tasting on the
Oh,
show.
yeah, absolutely.
I'm just
Well, that's
really,
what I'm saying.
Austin, I'm shocked because I've definitely had the whiskey
When
and it's good. But it was back when you'd recorded like your first season.
Yeah,
at
but like
Sticky
I never
Paws.
was offered it.
That's a while
There was
back.
also a time where I was gone for like the first half of your shows.
Yeah.
Is when you had Tyler on.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
might have been then, George, that you. But yeah, never got offered.
You're
me.
right. It was episode 1. I took it live on camera. I think I'm on an episode taking it. I'm pretty
And
sure.
look at you. Look at you.
It was. I think I had a doctor's appointment, so I was able to do the show
sir,
right after. But
you actually help manage the business. Like you are the social media person for the business, and you don't even.
I know it's great.
Well,
Sam,
he's-
I know
he's
it's-
You
like
got
me.
some of the sound.
Yeah, on your
soundtracks and
website,
stuff,
yeah.
Yes. So we
yeah, the
definitely.
name. I'd love to, and I'll take your honest opinion. I luckily the response has been good because as Stephanie and I always do stuff that we like, and then just hope other people like it
people
as
like
well.
it,
which I think
yeah.
is the best
But-
way to go about
yeah,
it.
because
Well, we're excited because we
Yes.
love a good we love a good cocktail,
And that's good.
and
that
we just
you-
bought a new ice maker just
We
for
did.
cocktail.
A nugget
bought
ice
a new ice
maker.
maker.
Yay.
That's how you know you're getting old. Like you're like,
Yes,
oh,
when
what
you get
gets me
excited
excited?
about that.
Oh, we're super excited about. I love the
Yeah.
appliances and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, that
Well,
was
we just
me
got
when I
all
got-
new appliances, new refrigerator,
I got a new
dishwasher,
Keurig.
Yeah.
stove, and the
don't know why that
microwave,
made me
and now
hyped.
the ice maker.
I believe it. So she begged me for this coffee maker we seen at Walmart. It was a coffee maker. Half of it's a Keurig, half of it's a coffee maker. So you
Oh,
can
like the pot.
So you
and
can brew the
We're
whole
not-
pot
yes,
on a single cup.
I have not used it yet.
See, I use my
still in
Keurig
a
almost
box.
daily. I have coffee almost every day, which only started, George can attest, at the old studio.
Yeah.
I had it every day at the old studio. Never had
Yeah.
coffee
Well, they
before
say
then.
coffee, like 2 or 3 cups, is actually healthy for you. There's
Yeah.
like anti-cancer,
Yes.
anti-Alzheimer's.
I don't know if the
anti-
cups
good for your
I am
liver.
having.
I know the ones we're
'Cause it's like
having.
this
got
much
the,
coffee, this much creamer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's
you gotta-
mostly just milk at that point. Right.
But I can honestly say doing what you love, liking something and turning it into a business is the best way because it'll never feel like work. You'll always be passionate about it. So
and then if other people don't like it, I get, everyone has opinions, and I don't get offended. But it's like if you do what you enjoy first, and we kind of look at it like we're entertaining ourselves first, and then if someone else is entertained, that's even better.
yeah,
But
that's
if
how I
you-
got on YouTube and TikTok. I was just talking to myself at first, because I like to tell stories. I like to
Right. I
study
did that
history.
too. So my first season of podcast was by myself on my Mac during COVID.
Yeah.
And I didn't think anybody, I was just doing it to
And he looks, I have
self-entertain.
4,000
Yeah.
downloads.
And then later, people go, when is your next season? I'm like, next season of what? Like your podcast. I'm like, you listen to that shit? Like, why?
Yeah, because
I didn't even get any checks. I didn't know.
Yeah, seriously. That's
But I always tell people all the time because they say, well, what's your secret? I done done so much stuff in my short 34 years. And I'm nowhere near done. I know he's going to be so sick of me whenever it's all said and done.
When she said you're like Ken,
I'm Barbie.
She's really Barbie.
I want to
Like-
be an astronaut Monday, a content creator
yeah.
Tuesday.
And why not do it all?
We
Like-
opened up call centers in the Philippines, and we've done so many different things. And it's like, how do we get these ideas?
Why not? Like back in the day, they called it the Renaissance man
Yes,
in Europe.
yes.
Like
Yeah.
you can do more than one thing.
For
sure.
It's not, you gotta, stay focused on. It's hard to
Yeah.
but there's no reason you can't be successful in
multiple-
multiple venues.
And that's whenever you do things that you enjoy, it just never feels like a burden. And I'd just be doing shit for real, to be honest.
Sometimes for the plot
I'm
twist.
like, I'm going to go get my degree and then I'm going to finish up my esthetician too. At the same time, why? Why would I do that
on
to
top
myself?
of, and then I'm gonna do
And-
YouTube and host a college
Yes,
show.
I've been-
and
and
we're gonna
now
go to
you're going to
Bali.
be playing bass from
Right.
Yeah,
guitar
I'm
for
getting
a
fully
member
pulled
of
out of
the band.
retirement now.
Yeah.
as of today.
Yeah,
He comes over and he says, "Hey, look, you don't have an option.
Yeah.
You're coming back out."
He told you he was
Yeah,
going to take you
I didn't
out back.
ask you. I
Yeah.
told
He
you.
told you he was going to take you out back. You know the consequences to this, right?
You don't want to end up in the mine shaft.
Right.
No, I do. The content would be immaculate, George.
Right.
But
yeah.
it's amazing. And I thank you for coming on.
Yes.
No,
here
thanks for having
and
me. This has been so much
talking.
fun. I can't tell you.
Listen, we are always having fun, and I feel like this is the most we've been focused. Our ADHD
Oh,
is
yeah.
the best of us every week.
Oh yeah, it's like
But
shiny.
It's
Oh, squirrel.
shiny. Yes, squirrel.
They're not
It's
going to know what
always.
to expect next week.
No.
Oh.
Oh, I won't be here next week.
Yeah, you're getting.
I'm gonna be gone for a couple of weeks, guys.
No, we might be able to make it next week.
What?
Possibly.
What day is next week? What's the
Tuesday.
July
It's
8th.
the 8th.
What day
Boy,
is
we
that
are
day?
not coming
That's
next
hilarious.
week. I might be able to call in from the house.
Yeah, do how you
But
did it.
yes,
well,
I gotta
getting
drop
ready-
my kids
You're
off
getting
with
ready
the-
to. Where
Oh
are we
my
going?
gosh, the
Yeah, we'll be-
content is going to be so fire. I know Terrell and T is not over, which I know I told y'all I was doing it, but it's gonna be Terrell and T, but it's gonna be very different. It's gonna be like this podcast style. So it's just so many things I'm working on, and it's nice to see a Ken. Whenever I feel like I be Barbie, I'm doing
yeah.
a bunch of stuff, and I enjoy it. It's fun.
And
you know?
I will tell you, you're never too old to be what you might have been, because
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff I've done has been later in life.
I'm too old to be
still-
a child actor, but
well,
I mean, shave
you
your
look
beard.
pretty young there.
Your mustache.
You can-
You might. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's true. If you if you
You
shave
can play
your
somebody's
facial hair,
16-year-old.
We'll just call you Ro. We'll just call you Ro. Put you on the show.
but no, you guys are, thank you for having me. This
course.
has been so much fun.
Absolutely. I know.
And,
And we hope to have you again. This is not the last time you're going to see all of us in the same room, y'all. I'm
Definitely
really
not.
serious about Spirits with Spirits or hosting something with
it'd be
Calls
fun.
from
Let's do
Beyond.
something big.
Yes,
I
something
feel like a
big.
CFB.
Yeah.
we're doing it
Spirits with
next
Spirits
week.
will be
Come on
dope.
out to the. No, I'm just kidding.
Better not while
No,
up in
we
the
would
jungle.
probably have to make sure that we plan it far enough out so we could sell.
Oh yeah, of
tickets
course.
to
Give
our-
some
I will
time.
give you one thing. They are tremendous at putting on events.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. And here's your $5.
I feel like, and I feel like it. We'll talk when we get off of here. Which my kids is looking for me, so let me go ahead and go.
Shaman.
But I appreciate everybody.
I've got to get home
Shaman.
and drink more
Shaman.
beer.
Oh no, I'm was serious.
Hold on, real quick.
That's one of my
Shaman
favorite beers.
said, as our manager of Calls From Beyond, he urges us to cease any further
Advertisement without a contract. We need investors.
Hey,
Old-
listen.
and don't talk to Old Man Liver.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
For God's sakes, you don't want to be associated
Hey,
with that guy.
listen, because I've been to the Pioneer and I've seen the culture around it and the things that I've heard about the things that you do for your community, such as having to sometimes bury people because they cannot afford it, doing things for the community and the children. It's such a small knit place. I don't even mind. No contract required. I'll send you the invoice.
Yeah, I'll send you an invoice in the email tomorrow.
Darn it, it's already on my phone. How did she send me a...
Wow, it already deducted from my bank account somehow.
How did they do that?
Just touch your phone right here.
Yeah, I was telling them about the prank that people play where they play the sound effect and they, and people are like, "Oh my God, you just stole money from me."
He said, "Oh my bad, I'll give it right back," and then they do it again, and it's like, "Oh, thank you for the 300," and they start walking away, and it's like, what?
So going back to advertisements, Jessica's asking, her email was messed up and wants to know if you could resend the ebook links. Isn't Jessica like your biggest supporter?
My
I feel like we could easily do that.
Thank you so much. Yes, I will have my assistant send them to you tomorrow morning.
Jessica's awesome.
Yeah, Jessica is awesome.
Jessica comes through.
Every
She supports our
Paulo,
business. She supports the
Christy,
show.
Everybody who's
Shaman,
here right now is all the OGs.
Samaj, Ray, Alexandria. Sometimes they get put out the show because they
Yeah, sometimes we tell them to log off. They're getting a little too wild.
Yes, but there are
And
friends.
Especially when
our
Zaddy
family.
comes up, George's dad.
We
have
like
to
to
time out
say a
people.
special shout out to Paulo because
Paolo
obviously
is in Africa.
Yeah.
she's in Africa and
So-
it's
She's
like
watching us right
5
now
in the
from
morning
Africa.
right now.
Oh,
She
cool.
stays up
Yeah.
late just to watch
And
our
she calls
show.
in. She's
And
great.
Yes.
I'm going to be in.
appreciate her.
I'm going to be in Tanzania next month. So
Really?
if you're,
I want to
That's
go.
amazing.
Yeah.
I think she's
my
a
sister's 60th birthday.
She's,
Zambia.
Zambia.
Okay,
No, but she was at her
Zambia.
parents' house, so I don't think she's in Zambia right now.
I think she was just ending her. I think she was
all
on
the same continent.
They call it holiday. The same continent.
She was on
Yeah.
And
holiday.
then
like
you
when-
can hook up.
It's like when people from Europe come here and like, I want to see. They're like, I'm here for a week. I want to see New York,
LA.
LA,
Yes.
Grand Canyon, and Pioneer all in 2 days.
Right,
You're like,
it's
dog,
always
it's
those
not,
four
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
It's definitely Pioneer. Always Pioneer.
But we have people that watch us all around.
Yes.
Even my content by myself.
Yep.
Like one of the people that are coming to Bali with us next week is in London. So when we're doing our group calls, she's like, "What's the time? How do you convert the time over? What time is it going to be for me?" So shout out to all of my foreign brothers and sisters, and of course, Jessica, I will send you out your ebooks. Somebody said I can't wait for Bali content.
Yep.
I'm taking your advice. Half of it will be vlogging.
You should.
The other half will be me going to. I thought about it. I want to go to the most haunted house in Bali. But
Okay, here's the thing though. Haunted in Bali probably feels
It's a
little-
portal.
Yeah, it's probably a little more rough than like going to the Pioneer.
They
Hey,
do tours.
I don't want to bring back a ghost on a 19-hour
Oh,
flight.
well.
Good point. Yeah, none of these places
will.
sound
Hour
close.
4, you're like, can you shut up already?
No.
Yes, I know that the
My
voices
ears
are
keep
here.
ringing.
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
understand.
trying to take a nap.
I told myself once I come back from Bali, I need to go see Rara because, just when the attachments
just to
you get
take
over,
some stuff
take
off.
it off, just go ahead.
Yep.
But I can't wait, and I'm gonna try to make it to next week's show.
Even if
And
you
I'll
call
probably
in, we'll be here.
Yeah, probably be from home. But
You got a busy thing coming. So, Steven,
Yes.
before we go, what do you have going on? Where can people find you if they want to hear more about what you do or what the Pioneer's doing?
Yeah, pioneersaloonnv.com, oldmanlivers, NevadaBluesFestival.com,
Yep.
FalloutFanCelebration.com, .com.
That's a good one. How much was that
they're all-
domain?
Right? Yeah.
Just pull up to the Pioneer Salon. If you want a record deal, you know what I mean. Just pull up.
Yeah, just
If we might be able to work something out.
yeah,
no, yeah. Come see me at the Pioneer. We
Right.
have a good time out there.
We could pay you in hot wings and chicken tenders.
Yeah, that's right. I can't pay with actual currency, but I got
Or
bottle
that good-
caps
that
and
good
Bottle
grilled
caps.
cheese I had.
whiskey.
And spiritual currency.
Right,
whatever
and
they use it.
spiritual currency. Thank you.
Yeah.
Spiritual currency. I like
Write that down.
spiritualcurrency.com. Ryan, write that down. We need that domain right away before some listener buys it.
Right.
No, they know. Our listeners are smart, but they know that when we
Listen.
be
No, somebody will buy it on purpose right now
yeah.
just so they
Just
can
to
sell
get it
it.
before
For
I can get
99
home.
I'll sell it to you for $30.
You're right. Damn it.
But Stephen, I want to say thank
thank
you
you.
for coming on. I give you a ton of. It's probably at least once an episode Pioneer is mentioned.
Well, thank you.
Just because
we appreciate that.
We've
we
both
always
been
talk
there,
about
but I
Pioneer.
basically live there some days.
No, it's been great having you be a bigger and bigger part of the
I
whole
appreciate it.
organization. So thank you.
We're definitely working on something on the back end.
Yep. Got a lot
Don't
going
think
on.
we haven't discussed it.
Yeah, I think
yeah.
they think we forget about the things we talk about.
No,
every
we don't
week
forget.
When it's really just we're super
Yep.
booked and busy, which
Yeah.
I love that for us.
I gotta
but
start
it makes it
hiring
hard.
people. That's how busy. George and I are literally. We just
Yeah.
hired. George hired somebody. Now I'm paying George. To use that person. But like we're getting so busy that we have to hire
Yeah.
people
That
now.
falls in the good problem
It
category.
is a good problem,
It's
I will
a
say.
blessing.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
And you can find me on. Y'all know where I be at.
I feel like if they are not following you at this point, it's like, what are we?
And you guys know where I'm predominantly over here on YouTube and TikTok. They've been on my bass. I'm shadow banned.
And
Oh,
if you guys-
did you? Oh, I didn't even get to tell you. So I uploaded a reel, made $400 in 2 days, and then on the 30th, TikTok goes, it's disqualified. On the last day, so I made no money on that clip.
Oh, that's
so I
not
stopped
right.
posting.
They've been acting like a bunch of pantsy ass bitches lately. So I've been over here. Of course,
You're entertaining our audience over here.
I'm working on getting everything to get at last minute things for Bali. Content is coming out. We will be talking about the top portal locations in Bali. So I just got so much for y'all.
Shaman said we need cross promotion. Start with Steven, then Red Bull, then Taco Bell. Those are our three most.
Oh my goodness!
I like all those
Pioneers probably. I mean, Red Bull is in every episode, but I think Pioneer is mentioned
Yeah.
way more than Taco
We
Bell.
should
That's
start.
my-
We should start blacking out our labels on Red Bull. Like just put.
Yeah.
napkin
You got to
over it.
get paid for that. Red Bull is a lot of money.
Do you have an energy drink yet?
No.
Don't give him any ideas.
I'm trying to.
Yeah,
I'm
we
trying
should probably
to.
do that, right?
Let me get on it.
All right, now I do.
Hold my beer.
So yeah,
coming out.
yeah.
Coming out in 3 weeks.
Crawfish. Oh. Crawfish farm now.
But you know what we should do? That's true. I am working on that. Crawfish
crawfish
farms in California.
Oh my goodness! Really?
Because I got 20 acres in between LA and Vegas that I'm trying to figure out what to do with. And there's a Mojave aquifer underneath it. There's plenty of
Do you
water.
want to
even
like build a house on it?
well, you could do that, but
Maybe.
I'm thinking of
Boring.
crawfish.
Kid wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
There's
no,
nowhere. There's
you can do
nowhere to
anything
get
else. I'm just
crawfish
trying
out
to get
here.
real estate.
There's not.
See, I'm trying to
That's
have.
what there's not.
But could you imagine fresh crawfish from Cali?
Thank you.
Yeah, no.
Like
It makes
would be
an
perfect
hour and
sense.
45 minutes from here. We can
As
get,
opposed to how long is it? take
well,
to get?
for New Orleans, I don't have to
And it's
fly it over.
frozen and,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. Like this is the
You
real.
put a little small store and just sell
See, they
them fresh
get it.
right
Why
there.
don't you get it?
I do. What do you mean? I do get it.
You'll be
get
you'll be managing the social media for that in 2
Yeah.
months too.
It'll
so.
be like,
There's
No,
things I
like
can't.
crawfish.com.
There's
Hey,
things I
Austin, you
can't
got-
talk about
Austin,
that
you
we're
got an
doing,
extra
but I'm
shovel.
getting
I'm gonna
that
need you to
too.
come out and help me dig these trenches.
And by the way, our energy drink is going to have alcohol.
Oh,
That would be.
As it should, yeah.
That would
Because
be
people
dope.
do Red Bull and
That'd be
vodka
dope.
or
I
whatever.
drink Red Bull.
There's a
and
Mountain Dew
rum.
one now.
That's
See?
it. That's my signature.
So why
But you
would
gotta
I
have a
repackage
sugar-free
it?
version and a regular version.
Yes.
And then at certain holidays, you start branching out and you start doing certain flavors.
We can get the rum from Belize.
Belize has the best rum
They do.
ever.
They do.
It's so.
This is now the ADHD
All
kicking
right.
in.
Well,
Oh, I know.
let's wrap this up because now I got to put them on. Belize,
Oh,
that rum
He.
is so
Yeah.
good.
We
We
Like
have-
you
we
guys
have
with the
a house in
Philippines,
Belize.
yeah, they have a
And
house.
the Bahamas has a really good selection of rum as well. And Haiti. Oh, that's the best rum I've ever had.
Is
IT.
it? That's
IT.
I could
Yes.
see that.
They call
That
you the
makes sense.
Belizean
Rum,
liver over
oh
there,
my
right?
gosh.
Belizean liver. Yeah, that's.
Belize.
I've got my own. Luckily, they
See,
speak English there, so I don't have to
I
interpret
just
it.
gave them a bunch
We
of
had a
bad
good time.
ideas.
We had a
good
good time
ideas.
in Belize.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
did.
it's a
good
fun
time.
country.
It's a fun
Yeah.
country
We
for
fell in
sure.
love with it, and I actually went there to start an Old Man Liver thirst parlor.
Yeah.
We were talking about another bar, and we'd call it like the Old Man Liver Beach Hut or something like that. And
Mm-hmm.
we looked at several restaurants and bars for sale. Didn't find anything magical, but there was this construction going on of this condo right on the beach.
Oh, my
And
goodness.
when apparently
Left
she's
there with a contract. Bought a condo.
she
That's
said,
something
she
y'all
said
would
I have
do.
a look.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be y'all.
Absolutely.
She said I had a look. I have a look that if it's gonna happen, like apparently
He said the same thing.
I
to
didn't even
me.
know. See,
Listen, I'll be like, ooh, and he'd be like, oh my
No.
god.
I'll tell her no before she even finishes that. She'll be like,
He
"Oh
already know.
no."
I'm about to start begging. And
No.
when
We
I
got
do
10
the-
other things right now.
When I do the
No.
ooh, this is nice.
No.
That means pull your wallet out. You have a card
then
and
you're in
everything
trouble.
else.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Just hand over your bank account.
I
Here,
would
just
love
take-
it.
I'm like,
here's
first
my
off,
shirt.
man, our bank doesn't even know we're in another country. We cannot authorize this payment right
No,
now.
It's like
Like,
that Family Guy
seriously.
skit where Peter gives a check and he was like, "This is a blank check. You can put any amount on there and I will pay."
Yep. That's exactly
Any amount at all, I
Because
will pay it.
whenever you know your spouse,
That's
you
funny.
got to just you suck it up.
I give in to everything except for the micro farm that she wants.
I'm getting that micro farm where I want all the animals to be little.
She don't
They
walk
just
her
have-
dog.
That's funny. I like that.
I want a little.
That's a great idea.
I want a
micro farm.
micro cows. Hey, and I could even turn it into a business where it's a petting zoo with
Yeah.
just little animals.
That's fun.
No,
Mr.
she wants-
Fresh is
And you
over
can
it.
have midgets
He's over
work
it.
there, like only dwarfs.
Only like
can
only
and
hey,
it's small.
The world's
everything
first
like it's
midget
a
micro
small
farm.
It's
I
a
promise.
small it's a small world. That's a cool.
I
It's a
really
small
want
world
them.
after all.
Now don't go
Wait,
stealing
that's
my
even
shit.
crazy.
Outside now.
Hey, don't be go stealing my shit because I know. Hey,
No, the idea was cultivated right here live on this show, so we're part owners regardless.
Oldmanlivermicrofarm.com. I don't know what you're talking about. But
but
no, that's a
in all
great idea. I love
in all
that.
seriousness, the rum that was in the Bahamas and Belize were the best rum I've ever had.
Yeah.
Ever, hands down. Best tequila I ever had was obviously
like-
Mexico, but it's
I feel like it was good in Puerto Rico too, though.
Yeah,
It was good in Puerto Rico too,
I
because
like to
obviously that's
taste
where they
the
make
rum and
Bacardi.
beer.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah, that's right.
That's where
Yeah.
the Bacardi factory is.
Yeah, so I like to go to other people's places,
tired.
like countries, and taste their local beer for one.
Yep.
And their local rum or whatever they specialize.
Yeah, whatever
in.
their
Right.
specialty is. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, and that yeah.
Pioneer specializes in ghosts, so come on out.
Yeah.
See some ghosts.
And,
Right.
and
And
Spirits
old
with
man.
spirits.
Spirits
Spirits,
with
if you're
spirits.
doing
And
Spirits
old-
with Spirits, it's gonna be
Old
with me and
man
Brian.
No, now you got to change it where you don't include just a regular drink. You have to include something this
I think
old
we
man liver
should.
base.
Well, I mean, we give them the option, and usually the bartenders are super cool
no,
about
make
it.
them drink it. You
I'm
gotta make 'em
thinking,
drink it.
yeah, we might be like,
Because
get
you gotta
get a free
gotta
shot or a free
You got to promote your
with
stuff
the
too.
Spirits with
You
Spirits.
do get a
Yeah,
drink
but they
with
could
it.
get anything. But I think we
Oh,
gotta,
yeah, yeah.
we gotta tell them now.
Make,
You get a busted
make
blonde
it,
ale or
make it got to be old man liver based.
That's right.
Because you
Thank
can
you.
make different types of drinks with whiskey.
Oh yeah, there's a lot,
million
and then you
ways.
include the beer, and I think we have one that is the whiskey and the beer, isn't it? Where it's a shot.
it's called the Old
in-
Man Liver Bomb.
Old Man Liver Bomb. Yeah, you drop the.
Oh, that's cute. Sexy blue balls.
Sexy.
Yeah, we have
sexy
swan-
blue balls.
We have
Fuzzy.
fuzzy blue balls, and that's been in
I would say
magazines and
sexy
shit. I'm not
too.
even kidding. And then there's and the swamp ass
Swamp ass.
because Louisiana thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's crazy.
and the
Even
the Red
food,
Menace.
though,
The
the
Red
food
Menace.
is really good.
The food is really good.
The
and
shakes.
the
I had a
names
shake
are-
for the first time at Breastfest, and
It was
I
good.
overdosed.
Yeah.
I probably have diabetes.
Oh yeah, we can
Sure
put we can
can.
put rum in these shakes.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh, I'm coming next. Oh, I won't be there next week. Damn it. I'm coming sometime.
Yeah, let us know.
And closing the doors.
Yeah, we'll meet up with you. We'll do taste testing.
All right, guys.
It's marketing.
Market, yeah.
Thank you
Yes.
again, Stephen. Though it was really
Thank
great
you.
having
Thanks
you
for
on.
having us. It's been a lot of fun.
Definitely check out Old Man Liver podcast. Definitely check out the Pioneer Saloon because just like I was helping Noah for a while, which I'm back finally helping my girl.
missed
I felt right. I was scheduling stuff all last night, and I was like, all is right in the world again.
And
swear.
y'all, the Marti Gras Fest, we'll be there.
Yes.
So pull
That'd be
up.
awesome.
Yes.
They're gonna be at more than just the Mardi Gras.
Yeah,
Fest.
but I know that's one event right now that I can confirm.
You're like,
Yeah.
I'm going.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
I would go if it was even if it wasn't my event. It's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
and it's
And-
got the real authentic food and vibe.
Yes.
So we
And
call it
I-
Monte Mardi Gras.
Cristos?
What's
Do
that?
you have Monte Cristos there at the? Or is that not a
We
real?
haven't done that yet, but we've done Sazerac,
She
Po'
said-
boys?
hurricanes.
Listen,
Po'
the
boys at all, or
missus
am I
is
just
like,
saying
Yeah, no,
wine.
we do shrimp po' boys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had the
Jambalaya.
fire
Yeah.
Cajun fries.
All right, we're all gonna go to the Pioneer right now, even though it's
right.
closed.
I'm hungry.
We're
I'm
gonna
like,
go- Yeah,
can they
seriously,
fire up
now-
the grill? Can we get some
Yeah, let's go.
jambalaya now?
Thanks again
Thanks
to
for
everybody
having me.
watching. Thank you again to Stephen for coming on. I just put out a new ghost hunt at the Pioneer. It just came out 2 nights ago. Go check it out on Truly Bizarre. It'll be up on Calls From Beyond here pretty soon. Check out Georgia's shows, Veterans Minimum, and is the golf video out?
Golf video's out. You're going to see the first 4 minutes of this after we finish here.
Oh, we're gonna play him a teaser of it.
Yep.
Thank you again to everybody. Check us out again next week. Thank you for all the super chats. We got 5 out of 10, but you guys seem to really like it. I think we'll have to do a live,
I
live
appreciate y'all. It
ghost
helps-
hunt
it
at
supports
the
show,
Pioneer.
You know?
That'd be fun.
George can get a Happy Meal this month.
Do it. Do it. Do it.
Not a happy meal.
And before he cut me off, Dude, shit is starting after we come back from
Oh,
Bali.
yeah.
Yes,
Dude,
I'm going
shit.
over. I'm going over to help them get a price. George, you I might bring George too, so we can.
Yeah, so
George is
as-
going to keeping us on track.
Yep,
We got to
so
finish building out our
Studio.
our
home
studio
studio.
at home, our home studio.
And that's when Taro and T and Dude Shit. And Dude Shit is literally what it somes like.
It's just going to be
Dude Shit.
Mr. Fresh,
I mean,
George, and I.
He's
Just,
going to be one of the first guests because
Count me in.
Dude, shit.
first episode.
yeah.
Why is this the best whiskey?
Hey,
hey, listen, but we appreciate you guys. Thank
Yes.
you so much
Thank
to
you.
everybody over on my channel.
Yes.
And we will see y'all next Tuesday.
Yes, we will be back. But go check out all of the content. Noah's putting videos out. I'm putting videos out. Go check it all out and enjoy this golfing video from George in Costa Rica before he almost died.
Have a great night.com.
In a world where golf is more than just a sport, it's a battle of wills. In a world where golf is more than just a sport, it's a battle of wills. The Carmona Classic, where every swing counts, where legends are made and egos are shattered.
I got a birdie shot right here and I'm fucking crowded.
Yeah.
First ever Carbona Classic.
Swimmer ready? See, the rookie got dressed already.
Today's not dress up day?
Yeah, but I'm ready. Have you had the champions breakfast yet?
I don't need a champion's breakfast. First ever Carbona Classic. We have, I think, about 2,000 people out there watching us today. Stiff competition. We got 4 competitors or 5 competitors. Doesn't really matter. But,
Mama, here's the monkeys.
Gil here's some monkeys. I hear 'em, Ma.
I'm sensing disqualification.
Not in the right attire. Not in the right attire.
Yeah.
Good morning.
I mean, I thought we were taking a picture.
Is it game time yet? Have I gone in the locker room and changed? And
It's actually past
It's
game
actually
time.
past game. I feel I have a good chance. I think I have a good chance of winning. I'm confident. I'm ready.
I'm winning this thing today. Everybody in this family sucks at golf. This is the only sport that I'm dominant in that the rest of the family isn't. A loss today means a loss for the next 364 days until we do this Carmona Invitational again. Abby spraying sunblock? She sprayed sunblock on his shirt.
Stiff competition.
I'm not losing. In the slot. In the slot. In the slot.
you need to play steady. Don't worry about distractions. Don't worry about the bird. Just worry about playing steady golf and kicking the ass of my 2 boys. His dad's still the boss.
My goal is to survive, candidly. To win, wow, that's a miracle.
Will we have a Woj bomb? Will the amateur rise to the occasion?